Ancient Sword Dragon Transformation. Soul Explosion. Strength Path, Giant Hand. Myriad Dragon. Fang Yuan used almost all his methods against Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei laughed. Fang Yuan, you're at your wit's end. She also used multiple killer moves of all kinds. They were all profound, and actually blocked all of Fang Yuan's attacks. Some even countered his moves. Fang Yuan's methods had already been exposed long ago. Fairy Ziwei had been collecting intel and did a lot of deductions. She created many methods that countered him. This was the incredible power of a wisdom path Gu immortal. But at this moment, Fang Yuan's killer moves still had some use. After all, he had also modified his moves to deal with Fairy Ziwei's deductions. But in terms of wisdom path attainment, I cannot compare to Fairy Ziwei. At this rate, eventually, Fairy Ziwei will deduce all of my methods, and I will no longer be able to fight back. Thoughts flashed in Fang Yuan's mind. Battle intent surged in him, but his mind was still cold as ice. Fairy Ziwei smiled as she breathed out some purple qi with imposing aura. The purple qi was delicate like a baby's fist, but it entered the immemorial year beast's mind the moment it hit. How? The immemorial year beast growled in pain. It was furiously holding its head. It lost its ability to fight as it rolled around on the ground. The variant human Gu immortals controlling the super immortal formation were all stunned. Fairy Ziwei's own battle strength was even higher than Qinyi. Earlier, she had not fought seriously, but now, her strong methods and imposing air were a huge shock to everyone. Fang Yuan also felt a little discouraged. He still had 2 immemorial soul beasts captured from Green Ghost Desert, but he did not want to use them now. Immemorial desolate beasts alone were often at a disadvantage against rank 8 Gu immortals. That was, unless they had rank 8 immortal Gu in them. Against these rank 8 Gu immortal experts from Heavenly Court, even immemorial desolate beasts with wild immortal Gu could not deal with them. Like how Fang Yuan could capture those 2 immemorial soul beasts earlier, against Fairy Ziwei, they held little threat. I am clear of this. In order to resist Spectral Soul Demon Venerable in the past, Heavenly Court had obtained many soul path methods. This is why I let the immemorial year beast out. If I summoned the immemorial soul beasts, they would be even weaker against her. Fang Yuan felt pressure rising in him. The enemies were just too powerful. They were truly formidable. Fang Yuan did not even have the confidence to kill the weakest person among them, Feng Gu. Fairy Ziwei and the rest were all experts among rank 8 experts. Any single one of them could match Fang Yuan or even defeat him. To speak the truth, Langya Blessed Land was already very powerful. It had 3 rank 8 battle strength existences. This was already above the standards of most super forces in the 5 regions. Among the 5 regions, only the top-tier super forces had 1 rank 8 Gu immortal. In Southern Border, why could the number 1 Righteous Path Superforce Wu clan dominate the region for so long? It was because there was a point in time where they had 2 rank 8 Gu immortals simultaneously, and also at least 1 rank 8 Gu immortal throughout the generations to hold the fort. Of course, immortal Gu houses could not be neglected. Many immortal Gu houses had rank 8 battle strength too. The strength of Langya sect was equivalent to a super force, or even above that. But against Heavenly Court, it was just too weak in comparison. The immemorial rock dragon was suppressed by Qinyi. Heavenly Giant Solar was struggling, but still at a disadvantage. Feng Gu had been dealing with the super immortal formation that Fang Yuan modified. The formation path attainment of the variant human Gu immortals inside could not match Fang Yuan, while Feng Jiuji's separation song was absurdly fierce even though it was countered by the immortal Gu formation. The 2 sides were at a deadlock. Fang Yuan's fight against Fairy Ziwei was locked in a deadlock as well, without any breakthroughs. He could not let this go on. Once Thunder Ghost True Monarch fails to find Wisdom Gu and returns to fight, unless Langya Land Spirit exposes a new trump card, Fang Yuan would definitely lose. Langya Blessed Land originated from Longhair Ancestor. It must likely have other trump cards. But now, I cannot depend on this possibility. Immortal Killer Move, Yama Battlefield. Fang Yuan suddenly flew and got closer to Fairy Ziwei before using his newly developed Immortal Battlefield Killer Move. Because of the soul explosion earlier, there were large numbers of soul path down marks in the battlefield. Yama Battlefield rapidly opened as it formed in a breath of time. But even at this speed, Fang Yuan could not trap Fairy Ziwei. This Wisdom Path great expert noticed something amiss the moment FY got close to her. She immediately retreated. Fang Yuan's Yama Battlefield was created very quickly. 1 breath of time was faster than most of the immortal battlefield killer moves in this world. But this amount of time was enough for Fairy Ziwei to escape. I failed. Fang Yuan's heart sank. Not being able to trap Fairy Ziwei, he had wasted his immortal essence. However, my efforts were not in vain. Fang Yuan looked at Feng Gu who was inside Yama Battlefield as he surged with killing intent. I'll kill him first. Fang Yuan grabbed the opportunity. The position earlier was perfect. If Fairy Ziwei had not retreated in advance, he would have trapped the both of them. Yama battlefield was a new method. Even if Fairy Ziwei wanted to unravel it, she would need some time. If Fang Yuan could trap both Feng Gu and Fairy Ziwei in the battlefield, there would only be the Silver Giant, Immemorial Rock Dragon, Chen Yi, and the Super Immortal Formation. Now that Feng Gu was trapped, the Super Immortal Formation was safe. If they could grab the opportunity to destroy the ancient tree prison cage, the Immemorial Rock Dragon would also be free. Chen Yi would have to deal with both the Silver Giant and Rock Dragon, as well as a Super Immortal Formation. He would not be able to handle it. If they could severely injure Chen Yi during that period, even if Thunder Ghost True Monarch returns, Lang Ya's side would be able to regain their footing. But now, Fang Yuan only managed to trap Feng Gu. That meant the Super Immortal Formation and Fairy Ziwei were competing with each other. But even if Thunder Ghost True Monarch returns, for the time being, they would still be in a deadlock. After all, rank 8 battle strength and sufficient foundation meant that they could not fall easily. Thus, Fang Yuan's target now was to kill Feng Gu, and he had to do it quickly, the faster the better. After killing Feng Gu, Fang Yuan would dispel Yama battlefield and deal with the 3 Heavenly Court rank 8s alongside the Rock Dragon and Silver Giant. Lang Ya's side would be in less danger after that. Thus, Feng Gu was a crucial point to break through. A Soul Path battlefield killer move? It seems to have Theft Path mixed in. Fairy Ziwei looked at the air in front of her. For the first time in this battle, she frowned. The Immortal battlefield isolated the inside from outside. Thankfully, Fang Yuan had used it right in front of her. Otherwise, she could not find the point of entry for Yama battlefield that was just a tiny spot. But even if she did, Fairy Ziwei's deductions were having huge problems. Because Yama battlefield not only contained the profundity of Soul Path, it also contained ghostly concealment. It was one with the killer move Emperor Yama. Rumble. The Super Immortal Formation activated as countless lightning bolts attacked Fairy Ziwei and Chen Yi. Since the battle started, this super formation had either been suppressed by Feng Gu and Fairy Ziwei or was in a deadlock with Feng Gu. It could finally display its might now. Chen Yi quickly defended himself. He was quite troubled. Lang Ya Land Spirit saw the chance and moved the Silver Giant, resisting the attack of the giant tree divine statue as it crashed into the ancient tree prison cage, trapping the Rock Dragon. Fairy Ziwei quickly thought about it, choosing to attack the Super Immortal Formation while deducing Yama battlefield, ignoring Chen Yi's situation. Fairy Ziwei chose the safe method. If Feng Gu fought with Fang Yuan now, she might not assist him. If he really ended up in a dangerous spot, she might reinforce him. She would still make it in time. But now, Yama battlefield was isolated from the outside. Feng Gu and Fang Yuan were fighting alone. This was dangerous and accidents might occur. Feng Gu was equally important to Heavenly Court, even more than Chen Yi and Thunder Ghost True Monarch, because he was the Tao Guardian of Great Dream Immortal Venerable Feng Jinhuang. Fairy Ziwei did not want any mishaps to occur to him. Fang Yuan wanted Feng Gu to die right now. Immortal Killer Move, Emperor Yama. Immortal Killer Move, Yama Child. Immortal Killer Move, Soul Explosion. At once, Fang Yuan attacked in a frenzy, turning into Emperor Yama form as the Yama Child army attacked Feng Gu from all directions. Soul explosions were mixed in and caused great damage to Feng Gu. In just a short period of time, blood was already flowing out of his mouth. Great method. Feng Gu felt an intense threat to his life. He used his killer move. Immortal Killer Move, Yang Pass Tune. At the moment of crisis, he had to use Yang Pass Tune killer move despite there being a time limit. Using Yang Pass Tune, he dodged and dodged, but within Yama battlefield, his method was greatly restricted. It was quite ineffective. The Yama children were amplified and moved even quicker and with greater force. They attacked without fearing death. Feng Gu dodged with all his effort, but he could not shrug off the Yama children. Immortal Killer Move, Song Warrior. Immortal Killer Move, Green Jade Song. Immortal Killer Move, Heaven and Earth Song. Immortal Killer Move, Submission Song. Immortal Killer Move, Separation Song. For Song Warriors protected Feng Gu as he moved around the Yama Child army, trying to get close to Fang Yuan. Capturing the king is essential. This was the most straightforward and wise tactic. Fang Yuan in his Emperor Yama form flew around in Yama battlefield with utmost ease and agility. Even though his enslavement path attainment was not high, he could still order the Yama children to attack Feng Gu fluidly. After a while, Feng Gu had a grim expression. Green Jade Song Warrior often shattered the Yama children which were turned into jade statues. But these Yama children were all unfearing and were tougher to deal with than ancient desolate beasts. Heaven and Earth Song had little effect within Yama battlefield. Separation Song could break apart immortal formations, But the immortal Gu used to sustain this battlefield were inside Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture. This was unlike immortal formations and immortal Gu houses, which had their immortal Gu house outside. Separation Song could not affect the interior of Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture. It was useless. Submission Song that Feng Gu had entrusted his hopes to was the best method against enslavement path. It had been a great help against Fang Yuan in the past, but right now, this song was an example of the bigger the hope, the greater the disappointment. The Yama children were merely affected in movement. They were completely unaffected by the enslavement effect of Submission Song. My Yama child uses Soul Beast modification, Soul Beast, summoning, and other methods within Spectral Soul True Inheritance. It also relies on ghostly concealment at the core. How can your Submission Song work against it? Fang Yuan snickered in his mind. Do I need to use Assimilation Wind Song? Feng Gu gritted his teeth. Fang Yuan's battle strength was very shocking. Even though he was mentally prepared, now that he was suppressed by Fang Yuan, Feng Gu felt a sensation of disbelief. How long had it been? Not long ago, he, Feng Gu, had chased Fang Yuan from southern border to western desert and put him in a difficult position. Fang Yuan's growth speed is too fast. This time, even if we do not get Wisdom Gu, we need to kill him. Feng Gu sighed internally. He stopped the notion of using Assimilation Wind Song. Assimilation Wind Song was too dangerous. Once he used it and made a mistake, the first person to die would be Feng Gu. Unless he had no choice, Feng Gu would not use Assimilation Wind Song. Especially in an intense battle like this, the interferences were too great. And my Assimilation Wind Song has already been exposed. How can such a crafty person like Fang Yuan be unprepared against it? Feng Gu was very wary of Fang Yuan's Wisdom Path Attainment. This time, we attacked with a powerful force. Because Fairy Ziwei isn't trapped inside this battlefield killer move, we have the absolute advantage in battle now. I need to wait for Lady Ziwei to deduce and break this immortal battlefield from the outside. That is the best method. After all, this immortal battlefield contains Soul Path and Theft Path aura, but no Time Path aura. There should not be any problems with the rate of time. Feng Gu dodged as he fought. Refusing to let the Yama children surround him, he decided to wait for reinforcements after putting his trust in Fairy Ziwei. Fang Yuan had been thinking of ending the battle quickly. If Feng Gu fought against him directly, he would be extremely happy about it. But was Feng Gu stupid? He had a clear understanding of the situation. He chose the best tactic for now. Fang Yuan sighed deeply in disappointment. Unfortunately, even though I have Time Path methods and rank 8 Time Path Immortal Gu years flow like water, it cannot be fused into Yama Battlefield. Yama Battlefield was not a killer move used on Sovereign Immortal Body. It had the problem of conflicting Dao marks. Fang Yuan had always kept a balance between Theft Path and Soul Path, but the conflict had reached the limit. Adding Time Path on top of it was too difficult. Time Path Battlefield killer moves could alter the rate of time compared to the outside world, but Yama Battlefield could not. In fact, even if Fang Yuan tried to use Time Path killer moves, any moves that were not Theft Path or Soul Path would be resisted by the Dao marks of the Immortal Battlefield. Immortal Killer Move, Triple Extreme Sound. Feng Jiuji's methods were unending. The Yama children could not get close. Once his song warriors were destroyed, he would create new ones immediately. But the biggest problem for Fang Yuan was Yang Pass Tune. It allowed Feng Gu to teleport instantly. Even though this move was restricted in this battlefield, having a limited range, and would not break out of Yama Battlefield, Fang Yuan's Great Thief Ghost Hand was too slow, at least, when compared to Feng Gu. Even though Yang Pass Tune had a time limit, Fang Yuan could not wait. He needed to end this fast. He had to kill Feng Gu as soon as possible, in order to help in the battle outside. Immortal Killer Move, Familiar Face. Fang Yuan turned from Emperor Yama into a Yama child as he sneaked into the army. Feng Jiuji's heart jumped. His teleportation became more frequent. But Fang Yuan was still in the dark while he was exposed in the open. After a while, Fang Yuan found his opportunity. Immortal Killer Move, Great Thief Ghost Hand. The Ghost Hand was completely concealed, going past the four Song warriors and aiming for Feng Gu. Directly, Feng Gu was still using Triple Extreme Sound. He did not sense its movement. Great Thief Ghost Hand entered Feng Jiuji's immortal aperture and grabbed an Immortal Gu tightly before leaving rapidly. Oh no, fixed immortal travel. Feng Gu stared with his eyes wide open. He was deeply shocked by the assault. He quickly turned around and burst out with sound waves, forcing Great Thief Ghost Hand to reveal its appearance before him. He was about to attack the Great Thief Ghost Hand, but Fang Yuan was well prepared. A large number of Yama children rushed up and sacrificed themselves, protecting the Great Thief Ghost Hand as it entered Fang Yuan's immortal aperture. To think that I would regain fixed immortal travel one day. Fang Yuan sighed deeply as he looked at the immortal Gu that was captured by Great Thief Ghost Hand. Oh, it's been raised to rank 7. It is indeed what I had deduced from the information earlier. Fang Yuan was secretly joyful. Even though he had ancient battle formation omnidirectional travel, which could replace the use of fixed immortal travel to some extent, it had many flaws, needing for Gu immortals to execute. Furthermore, it had a smaller range than fixed immortal travel, which was able to go anywhere in the world. Rank 7 fixed immortal travel still had the same appearance as its rank 6 version. Right now, this Gu was struggling in Great Thief Ghost Hand, but it did not move, holding on to fixed immortal travel as it flew rapidly. After flying into Heaven Ceiling Mountain inside Mini Southern Border, Great Thief Ghost Hand opened and tossed fixed immortal travel into the immortal formation. This immortal formation used 2 immortal Gu as the core, self-love and affection, along with countless mortal Gu. The main effect was to help Great Thief Ghost Hand refine the stolen immortal Gu quickly. Even though Reverse Flow River could be used here, it was already the core of Reverse Flow Protection Seal that Fang Yuan needed in battle. Fang Yuan had already succeeded once in using immortal Gu self-love and affection to refine other people's immortal Gu long ago. His plan was originally to incorporate affection and self-love into Great Thief Ghost Hand so that after it steals immortal Gu, the Gu can be refined instantly on the spot. This seemed unnecessary, but that was not true. If he could refine it on the spot, Great Thief Ghost Hand would not need to suppress the immortal Gu and bring it back to Fang Yuan. It could continue to steal more immortal Gu consecutively. After being put inside Heaven Ceiling Mountain, fixed immortal travel was suppressed and the refinement was automatically done. Fang Yuan could see results soon. Fang Yuan placed his sights on Feng Jiugu again. Feng Jiugu's expression was one of alertness and solemnness. A look of disbelief was hidden deep within his eyes. Fang Yuan actually has such a method to steal others' immortal Gu? Even those inside the immortal aperture are not spared. Did he obtain another thieving heaven true inheritance? This method made Feng Jiugu feel an intense threat. The sound wave attack that he used to force out Great Thief Ghost Hand was activated again. He did not want to cancel it. This move is too terrifying. If the stolen immortal Gu earlier was the core immortal Gu of my triple extreme sound killer move, wouldn't my killer move activation fail, causing me to suffer backlash and receive severe injuries? Feng Jiugu felt a bit of relief and also lingering fear. Fang Yuan felt that it was a pity, but Great Thief Ghost Hand could not choose its target. If he really stole the crucial immortal Gu again like when he fought Meng Tu, Feng Jiugu's killer move would fail and the battle would turn around. He could even be killed quickly. Even though Fang Yuan succeeded, Feng Jiugu was completely alert now. He used Yangpa's tune to teleport nonstop, refusing to stay at one spot. At the same time, he used his sound wave killer move without regard for immortal essence consumption. As for triple extreme sound, Feng Jiugu stopped using it. He did not dare to. His focus was all on escaping the pursuit of the Yama children. After Fang Yuan was exposed, he used familiar face again to disguise as a Yama child to approach Feng Jiugu subtly. This was an immense mental pressure to Feng Jiugu, but Fang Yuan was not feeling great either. Feng Jiugu was too slippery. He kept moving around the place, using his sound wave move and preventing Fang Yuan from getting any opportunities to attack. It seems that I will need to put some effort into the concealment of Great Thief Ghost Hand. Feng Jiugu actually had a way to force out the Great Thief Ghost Hand to show itself. This was out of Fang Yuan's expectations. He immediately thought of Formless Hand. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's signature method could interchange between Phantom and Solid. If it was used instead of Great Thief Ghost Hand, it would fear no sound waves. Formless Hand was also extremely fast. Once used, the enemies of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable could only watch as their immortal Gu were all stolen one by one. They would spit out blood from anger and helplessness. But Fang Yuan's Great Thief Ghost Hand only had a small trace of Formless Hand's glory. Even so, it made the great Feng Jiugu fluster and escape in anxiety while feeling fearful. Fang Yuan forced Feng Jiugu to move around the place, but he felt no arrogance that he succeeded. He was clear that he only had hopes of victory if he killed Feng Jiugu quickly now and went back to help out Langya Blessed Land. But in the following battle, Feng Jiugu did not leave any flaws for Fang Yuan. He was also a demonic path cultivator that shocked the whole of Central Continent. Challenging all 10 sects at once, he had rich battle experience. As time passed, Yangpa's tune's time limit finally arrived. A chance. Fang Yuan was anxious and joyful. He was anxious because so much time had been wasted and Feng Jiugu was still alive. But he was joyful because the flaw had finally appeared. Feng Jiugu's heart sank. In the past, his fierce attacks would render his enemies helpless. After becoming a famous person, he had never been faced with a situation where a rank 7 Gu immortal chased after his life. Now, he had experienced this from Fang Yuan. He finally recognized his own weakness. That was the movement aspect. With Yang Pass Tune unusable, Feng Jiuji's speed fell drastically. He was soon surrounded by Yama children and could no longer dodge as easily. Feng Jiugu was forced to defend himself at one location. His killer moves had great power as he attacked the Yama children who surrounded him from all directions. Fang Yuan hit among them perfectly. Great Thief Ghost Hand was prepared to strike the moment Feng Jiuji's defenses revealed a flaw. But at this moment, the entire Yama battlefield started to shake as it emitted a sharp noise. Oh no! Fang Yuan's expression changed. Lady Ziwei must have done it. Feng Jiugu was very happy. The entire Yama battlefield started to shake with greater intensity. Fairy Ziwei's actions were extremely effective after this amount of time. So little time had passed. Fairy Ziwei actually managed to deduce the workings of my Yama battlefield. She is so fast. No, at this rate, Yama battlefield cannot last for 30 breaths of time. I need to obtain victory now. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with a ruthless light. I was saving this for Fairy Ziwei and the rest, but I will use it on you first. There was no time. If Yama battlefield was broken, Fang Yuan would lose the chance to kill even Feng Jiugu. He made up his mind to use this trump card. Immortal killer move, Soul Explosion. It was still the Soul Explosion method, but Fang Yuan was not detonating any ordinary Yama child. It was an immemorial Yama child. Fang Yuan had 2 immemorial soul beasts originally. During this period of cultivation, he turned the 2 immemorial soul beasts into Yama children as well. These 2 Yama children were extraordinary. Fang Yuan had finally used them after hiding them for so long. Ancient Yama Child Soul Explosion was a peak rank 7 killer move, while Immemorial Yama Child Soul Explosion was rank 8. Even though Fang Yuan did not deduce Luo Pasil successfully, he still had another hidden rank 8 offensive method. Boom. Immemorial Yama Soul Explosion. Feng Jiugu was directly hit. Splat. At a certain area in Central Continent, Feng Jinhuang went into a daze. The cup in her hand fell to the ground and shattered. Duke Long sent her an inquiring gaze. Feng Jinhuang held her chest with an uncertain expression. Just a moment ago, she felt an intense sensation in her heart. Chapter 1579. Fate Armor. He didn't die? What immortal goo is this? Fang Yuan stared with slightly widened eyes as Feng Jiugu floated in the air. Feng Jiuji's 7 orifices were bleeding intensely, but a thin light armor surrounded his body. This armor saved his life, allowing him to survive the immemorial Yama Soul Explosion. Rank 8 Immortal Gu, Fate Armor. Feng Jiugu coughed out blood as he said. Fang Yuan's expression was very dark. This was the first time he was seeing Fate Armor Immortal Gu. Even though Feng Jiugu used it in the River of Time earlier, Fang Yuan had sent Feng Jiugu into the River of Time back then. He did not witness this personally. Thus, Fang Yuan did not know the existence of Fate Armor Immortal Gu. And precisely so, he miscalculated. Heavenly Quartz Foundation. Fang Yuan smiled helplessly, but at the next moment, his determination surged as he looked at Feng Jiugu with a menacing gaze. This Fate Armor Immortal Gu can protect you once, but can it save you again? Fang Yuan still had another immemorial Yama child. Feng Jiugu was pale as paper. He had sustained severe injuries, but he spit out some blood. Cough. You can try. I'm not afraid to let you know. Fate Armor Immortal Gu's effect is defense. Its power varies, but it only follows the results dictated by fate. If I am not meant to die now, Fate Armor Immortal Gu can protect me from any killer move in this world. If I am fated to die already, then Fate Armor's protection will be as weak as paper. Fate. Fang Yuan frowned tightly, saying the name of one Immortal Gu. You are right. This has to do with Fate Immortal Gu. Feng Jiugu nodded as he sighed. If Fate Immortal Gu was destroyed, Fate would no longer restrict all living beings. Fate Armor's power would be reduced greatly, restricted by its rank. Rank 8 Immortal Gu would only be able to unleash Rank 8 defensive power. But now, Fate was injured and not fully destroyed. Fate still bound the people of this world. This allowed Fate Armor Immortal Gu to unleash defenses beyond Rank 8. My reverse flow protection seal is a tortoise shell already, but this Fate Armor Immortal Gu is even more sturdy. Fang Yuan was shook, but his attacks became even fiercer. Feng Jiugu used Fate Armor with all his strength. His immortal essence expenditure was huge, but he could last for some time. This time when attacking Langya Blessed Land, Fairy Ziwei had already provided him assistance in the form of immortal essence storage. Rumble. At this time, there was an intense explosion as a purple galaxy appeared in Yama battlefield. It expanded and revealed the appearance of the outside Langya Blessed Land. Why is she so fast? Fairy Ziwei's speed of deducing Yama battlefield was way faster than Fang Yuan's expectations. Fang Yuan grunted as he bled from his nose and mouth. Yama battlefield collapsed. He had to face the backlash of this killer move. Fairy Ziwei did not give Feng Yuan Fate Armor Immortal Gu simply to protect him. Once it was activated, Heavenly Court would sense it. Back then in the River of Time, Lord Huangshi had used Fate Armor to locate Feng Yuan and save his life. Now, Fairy Ziwei was already close to breaking into Yama battlefield and unraveling it. Fate Armor acted as receptor for Fairy Ziwei to increase her deduction of Yama battlefield. She could open up a pathway with a shorter amount of time. In history, Wisdom Path deductions have been the hardest at the starting step. All the Wisdom Path Gu immortals in the world were trying to deduce matters on Fang Yuan, but he used Wisdom Path protection methods. As long as they were intact, they could not find him. Among the 3 Wisdom Path Gu immortal experts of Eastern Sea, Huan was also helpless and even reverse deduced by Fang Yuan. When she had just started to deduce it, Yama battlefield was complete and had no loopholes, but now that she tore an opening in it, the hardest part was over. The difficulty had fallen greatly. Tear, tear. The sound was endless as streams of purple galaxies tore through the sky, creating countless tears in Yama battlefield. Boom. With an intense explosion, Yama battlefield broke apart entirely. Fang Yuan spit out a mouthful of blood as a large number of mortal Gu died in his immortal aperture. The immortal Gu used were also injured to some extent. Fang Yuan returned to Langya blessed land while in Emperor Yama form. Be careful. He has a way to steal immortal Gu from the immortal aperture. Feng Yuan escaped and managed to fly back to Fairy Ziwei. The moment he came out, he gave this intel to all his teammates. It's you. Chun-Yi was the first to speak. He shouted angrily with wide-opened eyes. He recognized that Fang Yuan was the one who fought him in Green Ghost Desert, the one who stole Qing Chao's soul beast token right in front of him. Fang Yuan's heart sank to rock bottom. He did not manage to kill Feng Yuan. Fate Armor Immortal Gu ruined his hopes. And even worse, Emperor Yama and Great Thief Ghost Hand's intel were exposed. The enemies found out about them. This was something Fang Yuan had been trying to avoid. Since the start of the battle, he had been keeping this trump card hidden, hoping to use it in this battle to kill a strong enemy, using Yama battlefield to conceal the traces and keep his secrets hidden, but his wishes were not answered. Fang Yuan did not manage to kill anyone while his trump cards were exposed. Fang Yuan, you are truly a source of chaos. Lu Guanyi is you. Xuanbu Jin is also you. Fairy Ziwei's eyes flickered with purple light. She instantly understood Fang Yuan's plan. So that's it. You want to control Green Ghost Desert to collect soul cores and use Dang Hun Mountain and Luo Pai Valley to cultivate. It is a pity Dang Hun Mountain has been destroyed. No, there is orderly well. You have a way to restore Dang Hun Mountain. Fang Yuan did not speak. This Fairy Ziwei was a wisdom path great expert indeed. She exposed so many of Fang Yuan's secrets in an instant. Fairy Ziwei was also feeling deep lingering fear. To think that Fang Yuan has such a method to steal other people's immortal Gu directly. Thankfully, Great Thief Ghost Hand is much weaker than Formless Hand. It cannot choose what immortal Gu to steal. Otherwise, if it stole a crucial immortal Gu, Feng Jiuji's killer move activation would fail. He would face a backlash and would need to use Fate Armor in advance. It would be a problem of whether he could last until I deduce and broke this immortal battlefield killer move. Great Thief Ghost Hand can steal rank 8 immortal Gu. Thankfully, it did not manage to take Fate Armor. Otherwise, how could Feng Jiu survive? Feng Jiu is indeed a Dao Guardian. He has strong luck and was not suppressed by Fang Yuan's luck. However, Fairy Ziwei looked at Fang Yuan with an eerie gaze. This demon managed to steal fixed immortal travel. It means that his luck is very strong, even though he failed to kill Feng Jiu. Fate Immortal Gu was damaged by Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Even though it was not destroyed, it was greatly weakened. Thereafter, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable rose up and created Luck Path. As long as Fate did not recover, Luck Path would continue to be this strong. Fang Yuan's Luck Path attainment level was not high. He did not have any strong offensive killer moves in Luck Path, but Luck Path had always been helping him subtly, like burning soul-bursting luck. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions resounded as both sides fought again, ending up in a chaotic battle. Feng Jiu had lost a lot of his battle strength as he went under Fairy Ziwei's protection. Fang Yuan was also without options against Chun-Yi's ancient tree prison cage. He could only join up with the Super Immortal Formation and Heavenly Giant Solar to deal with Chun-Yi and Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei displayed the might of a rank 8 expert now. Her killer moves were used with great execution, far above Chun-Yi. Chun-Yi had Genesis Lotus True Inheritance, while Fairy Ziwei cultivated Star Constellation's True Inheritance. It was not that Genesis Lotus True Inheritance was inferior to Star Constellation's True Inheritance, but because Wisdom Path killer moves were fundamentally more complex and expended much more mental energy. Fang Yuan still had one immemorial Yama child. Emperor Yama and Great Thief Ghost Hand were already exposed. Fairy Z-Wei and the rest could counter it. They did not put down their guard. They were covered by immortal killer moves that exploded continuously. If Great Thief Ghost Hand got close to them, the explosions would force them out. There was no opportunity to steal. The truth was, Chun-Yi and Fairy Z-Wei's investigative methods were very exemplary, but Fang Yuan stopped using Great Thief Ghost Hand frequently after fearing that it would be found out. The more he used it, the more flaws he would expose. Especially against Fairy Z-Wei, the more intel he leaked, the more she could deduce. Bam! With a thunderous sound, Thunder Ghost True Monarch appeared in a flash. She had returned. The moment Thunder Ghost True Monarch returned to the battlefield, the expressions of both sides changed. Heavenly Court's immortals were extremely happy, while Fang Yuan's side turned grim. The two sides were evenly matched. At this time, Heavenly Court gained a new rank 8 battle strength who was a first-rate expert. This would cause a huge change in the battle result. But Thunder Ghost True Monarch's report made Fairy Z-Wei's gaze turn dark. What? You did not find Wisdom Gu? Wisdom Gu was refined by Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, and the refinement process was recorded in Star Constellation's True Inheritance, allowing Fairy Z-Wei to know a lot about it. But Fairy Z-Wei did not know that Wisdom Gu had the trait of following after information path environments. Wisdom Gu is wild. Did they refine it? Or did they destroy it? Or do they have any method to resist the light of wisdom and relocate Wisdom Gu? Thoughts rumbled in Fairy Z-Wei's mind. She was thinking at lightning speed. She stood up and looked at Heavenly Giant Solar, gazing at Fang Yuan as she shouted, "Hand over Wisdom Gu. I will allow you to surrender." Heavenly Court's current invasion was mainly for rank 9 Wisdom Gu. Fang Yuan was only secondary. Immortal Gu were unique and hard to refine. Rank 9 Immortal Gu were at the pinnacle of the pyramid. In the current 5 regions, in this entire world, there were likely less than 10 rank 9 Gu. Rank 9 Wisdom Gu was too important for the growth of Heavenly Court strength. It was second to Fate Gu. Ignoring anything else, just Fairy Z-Wei alone. With just her Wisdom Path Attainment and Star Constellation chessboard, she was already one of the 3 strongest Wisdom Path great experts in the world. If she could obtain rank 9 Wisdom Gu and use Star Constellation chessboard to refine it, she would be the #1 Wisdom Path great expert in the world. She would comprehend all of the profundities of Wisdom Path in this universe. She would stand at the very top. The second strongest person would be miles away from her. She would have an unthinkable deduction ability. Even if Fang Yuan had Emperor Yama, or even a rank 8 Wisdom Path method, he would not be able to block Fairy Z-Wei's deductions. Only rank 9 methods could work. But how many rank 9 Wisdom Path methods were there? At least in Fang Yuan's true inheritances of Langya and Spectral Soul, there were no such records. Surrender? The hairy man Gu immortals shook. Langya Land's spirit shouted in anger. Surrender my ass. Langya blessed land will only have hairy men dying in battle. We will not be kneeling slaves. Fang Yuan was quite curious. I am a complete otherworldly demon. In order to get Wisdom Gu, will your Heavenly Court spare me? Fairy Z-Wei smiled arrogantly. So what if you are a complete otherworldly demon? Our Heavenly Court predecessors have known about otherworldly demons long ago. We have recruited them before. It was merely not written in history. Look at now. Zhao Lianyun is the best example. Fang Yuan, Heavenly Court is far more magnanimous and accepting than you think. Even if you are an otherworldly demon who possessed Spring, Autumn Cicada, and Spectral Soul's true inheritance, as long as you turn over a new leaf and contribute your sovereign immortal aperture into Heavenly Court, you will be one of us. And according to Heavenly Court's rules, we will treat you equally as everyone else. After hearing these words, Fang Yuan's expression did not change. He still smiled coldly, but Chun-Yi had a complex expression. There was suspicion and jealousy in his eyes. Chun-Yi believed what Fairy Z-Wei said, because Heavenly Court's rules were as such, regardless of who you were in the past. After joining Heavenly Court as a righteous path member, after giving up your immortal aperture, you would be a member of Heavenly Court. There would be no differential treatment. But it is so difficult to join Heavenly Court. I, Chun-Yi, have worked hard my whole life. I only managed to join Heavenly Court because of my battle strength and the fact that I have Genesis Lotus True Inheritance. How many years has this Fang Yuan cultivated? He killed people and caused havoc everywhere. But if he turned around now and become a righteous person, he would get to join Heavenly Court. At once, Chun-Yi felt a strong sense of injustice. He even felt a little grievance in his heart. But Thunder Ghost True Monarch's expression was unchanged, because Heavenly Court had once tried to recruit someone else. This person slaughtered the people in the world. He was a much greater problem than the current Fang Yuan. He was Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Before Spectral Soul Demon Venerable reached rank 9, Heavenly Court had tried to recruit him multiple times. After becoming rank 9, They also tried to recruit him once. Heavenly Court is the heavenly court of humanity. Fang Yuan, you are extremely talented. You managed to roam freely as a rank 7 and evade Heavenly Court's pursuit for so long. It shows your qualification to join us. I can swear on my life. After joining Heavenly Court, not only would you preserve your life, you would be able to cultivate and continue being a free Gu immortal. Thunder Ghost True Monarch said. Fang Yuan. At once, the hairy man Gu immortals looked at Fang Yuan with worry. Even Sixth Hair did the same. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. To obtain Wisdom Gu, you guys are willing to let me go and recruit me. It shows how important rank 9 Wisdom Gu is to all of you. Then how about this? If you do not let us off today, I will destroy Wisdom Gu in your face. Your attempt will end in failure. Incorrigible. How can the grand righteous path be threatened by the likes of you? Since you want to die, I will grant you your wish. Thunder Ghost True Monarch charged at Fang Yuan with deep anger. Boom, boom, boom. Fang Yuan fought against Thunder Ghost True Monarch on barely even grounds. Thunder was rumbling. Air currents were turbulent. Oh, that means Wisdom Gu is on you now. Fairy Ziwei's eyes flickered with brilliance. She started to act as well. Fairy Ziwei was suppressed by Thunder Ghost True Monarch and Fairy Ziwei's cooperation. He could only use Reverse Flow Protection Seal to defend himself. He could not fight back at all. He transmitted to Lang Yalan's spirit. First Supreme Elder, this is an emergency. If you have any methods left, use it now. Otherwise, there will be no time to regret. Lang Yalan's spirit shouted. Forget it. I'll show you the true power of Lang Ya Blessed Land. As he said that, the entire sea surface of Lang Ya Blessed Land started to bubble. It was as if the ocean was boiling. Countless refinement path Dao marks shone with the light of Dao marks. Be it Gu immortals or mortals, they could see it with their naked eyes. The aura of an immortal killer move burst out like a grand tornado. It rampaged in the entire Lang Ya Blessed Land. None of Heavenly Court's Gu immortals were spared. They were all hit by the move. What is this? Chun-Yi and the rest had changes in expressions. All of their defensive methods radiated with a brilliant light, forced to resist the move. The mysterious killer move was incredibly powerful. Even Fang Yuan was hit by it. There were countless ripples on his reverse flow protection seal. Quick, come inside. Lang Yalan's spirit transmitted, moving the silver giant towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan successfully fused into heavenly giant solar formation. This was not the first time he was entering this ancient battle formation. What move is this? A flash of joy sparked on Fang Yuan's face. Lang Yalan's spirit's move was very powerful. All 4 Heavenly Court immortals were all forced to defend themselves. They could not attack. Lang Yalan's spirit smiled bitterly. These were the gains in battle that my main body had obtained when he killed a water path great expert in his life. Using it, he comprehended the strongest refinement path. Killer move, Omnipresent 4 Seas. This move expends an immense amount of seawater. Unless we are refining rank 8 immortal Gu, we would not use it. Against the enemy now, it can only last for dozens of breaths. Fang Yuan observed carefully. Lang Ya Blessed Land sea level was truly falling. A vast amount of water was expended to maintain this Omnipresent 4 Seas killer move. Fang Yuan had a realization. So this Lang Ya Blessed Land's terrain was carefully designed. The 3 continents float on the vast sea, but the seawater is not simple at all. It is actually the refinement path foundation of the Blessed Land. It is truly precious. Fang Yuan looked at Heavenly Court's Gu immortals as he sighed. It is a pity that this move cannot differentiate friend and foe. Otherwise, if we can attack now, we can gain the upper hand. Actually, Omnipresent 4 Seas could be contained in an area, but that place needed to have a corresponding immortal formation to draw out the power of the killer move and refine Gu. And this refinement path immortal formation is none other than the long hair refinement path formation used to refine Myriad Self for Fang Yuan. Heavenly Court would naturally not be lured into such an obvious trap, and in this situation, Lang Yalan's spirit had no choice but to use this move fully across the whole of Lang Ya Blessed Land, in the sky, land, and sea. But this way, Fang Yuan's super immortal formation would also be attacked by Omnipresent 4 Seas. Thankfully, Lang Yalan's spirit was prepared for it and went towards the silver giant. Disassembling as the immortal Gu were collected back, the variant human Gu immortals of the 3 races also entered the silver giant. What do we do now? Fang Yuan looked at Lang Yalan's spirit as he asked. He felt that Lang Ya Blessed Land still had some trump cards left, and this battle would be decided by those trump cards. Chapter 1581, Thunder Ghost's Death. Lang Yalan's spirit had a look of pain. As he looked at the falling sea level, he frowned tightly, feeling deep loss. This seawater seemed ordinary, but it was not. Long-hair ancestor had painstakingly created this refinement water during his late years. Right now, there was only the quantity of 1 sea. If there were 4Cs, he would be able to use a secret method to cause a qualitative change and create a man-made secluded domain of heaven and earth. For this goal, Langya Blessed Land had been kept at Crescent Moon Lake for a long time. Using the water path environment and immortal tribulation tempering aperture killer moved to trigger water path tribulations and increase water path down marks for Langya Blessed Land. But now, in order to resist Heavenly Quartz Gu immortals, Langya Blessed Land's accumulations were rapidly expended. After this battle, it would definitely be depleted. Oh, Langya Land's spirit growled, leading the band of Hairy Man Gu immortals to mobilize Heavenly Giant Solar. The Silver Giant attacked with immortal killer moves as Heavenly Quartz Gu immortals were faced with explosions. The attacks were extremely powerful. They were at rank 8 level. At once, Heavenly Quartz Gu immortals had no way to fight back. Thunder Ghost True Monarch's armor was broken, while Chun-Yi and Fairy Z-Wei spat out blood. Feng Jiuji's state was even worse. His face was pale as paper as he gritted his teeth. He was holding on with Fate Armor, Immortal Gu. Omnipresent 4Cs was in essence a refinement path killer move. It used the refinement path down marks of Langya Blessed Land. It was the accumulation of long-hair ancestors' entire life. This move did not care about ally or foe. Fang Yuan would be hit if he was within range, but Hairy Men could move freely. The reason was that Hairy Men had refinement path down marks naturally, and when Langya Land Spirit side uses killer moves, the refinement path killer moves would be amplified by omnipresent 4Cs. Each hit would be extremely powerful, having first-rate rank 8 power. As for the Silver Giant, it could also move freely as it was an ancient battle formation instead of an immortal Gu house. Heavenly Giant Solar depended on the user. Right now, with the Hairy Man Gu immortals controlling it, it was a refinement path giant. This was also why Fang Yuan and the variant human Gu immortals of the other 3 races did not participate. If he attacked, he would be restricted by omnipresent 4Cs. There would not be any point. Kill them all. Langya's foundation is truly unfathomable. The variant human Gu immortals of the 3 races gasped, but Fang Yuan frowned deeply, telling Langya Land Spirit, First Supreme Elder, even though your all-out attacks are powerful, they cannot determine victory. Omnipresent 4Cs cannot last long. We have limited time. If you do not use any of your remaining methods, I know, shut up. Langya Land's Spirit growled. His eyes were bloodshot. He gritted his teeth. Having a fierce expression, he was very uneasy in his heart. On the surface, he had a great advantage, but Heavenly Quartz 4 immortals could not be killed. They were like rocks by the seashore. No matter how hard the waves crashed into them, they remained motionless. After more than 10 breaths of time, even though the Silver Giant burst out with immense might, Heavenly Quartz 4 immortals were still alive. While Langya Blessed Land's seawater had dried up, not a drop of water remained. Even the seabed was exposed. It is time to retaliate. Thunder Ghost True Monarch breathed in deeply. Her expression was sinister. She started to condense her black armor again. As expected of long-hair ancestors' legacy, Chun-Yi sighed deeply, healing his own injuries rapidly. Heavenly Quartz Gu immortals had deep foundations. They resisted the Silver Giant's attacks with only mild injuries. You forced me. You all forced me. Seeing the approaching Heavenly Court Gu immortals, Langya Land Spirit muttered as he screamed afterwards. Come if you want to lose your life. Omnipresent 4Cs could not defeat the enemies, but Langya Land Spirit took out another trump card. Rumble. Intense thunder rumbled and red lightning flashed. In an instant, the whole of Langya Blessed Land was enveloped. This is Heavenly Quartz 4 immortals' expressions rapidly changed to great shock. Be it the plotting Fairy Z-Wei, or the Thunder Ghost True Monarch bursting with battle strength, or Chun-Yi who was once the authoritative figure of a sect, or Feng Gu with immense talent, they all lost their cool. Fang Yuan was also dazed. Memories flashed in his mind as he spoke. Steal life. The other Hairy Man Gu immortals were stunned. They did not know what this trump card was. Even Langya Land Spirit looked at Fang Yuan in surprise. That's right. This is Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's rank 8 Steal Life, Immortal Gu. You know about it. Fang Yuan was deeply shocked. Langya Land Spirit actually had Steal Life, Immortal Gu in his hands. Fang Yuan knew about Steal Life, Immortal Gu from Thieving Heaven's dream realm. To think that Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had left this Immortal Gu to Longhair Ancestor. Defend. Heavenly Quartz 4 immortals tried to defend themselves. They were extremely nervous now, hundreds or thousands of times as before, because they could tell that this was the red light emitted by Steal Life, Immortal Gu. At the next moment, the overwhelming red light suddenly retracted, as if thousands of arrows were shot out before flying back to the bows like time was reversed. The red light brought away the lifespan of all life forms. In an instant, Feng Gu turned from a handsome young man to an old and wrinkled man with white hair. Fairy Ziwei spit out a mouthful of blood, wrinkles appearing on her face. Chun-Yi was extremely pathetic. His long hair broke as strands flew in the wind. As for Thunder Ghost True Monarch, she held her chest. Originally, she looked like a young girl, but after the red light retracted, she completely turned into an old lady. Her hair was white and her eyes were blurry. She gasped in weakness as she tried to breathe. There were barely any teeth left in her mouth. Good. Seeing this, Fang Yuan smiled. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals were very powerful, but most of them were slumbering in the immortal graveyard. Unless they had no choice, they would not wake up, because they had already expended most of their lifespan. With their already limited lifespan, they would not be able to live long. And now, Lang Yalan's spirit used Steel Life Immortal Gu. This weakness was targeted, greatly influencing the Heavenly Court's 4 immortals. However, Lang Yalan's spirit is only using Steel Life Immortal Gu. It is not a killer move and has a singular effect. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals activated their methods urgently. They were all defensive but could not block everything. And this Steel Life Immortal Gu did not differentiate ally from enemy. Even the Silver Giant was useless against it. Our Gu immortals were also affected. Fang Yuan looked at himself. He was also covered in white hair and wrinkles. But it was not a problem. He had 4,000 years of lifespan Gu. He quickly used a few to become a young man again. As for the other variant human Gu immortals, they originally had longer lifespans than humans. Even without lifespan extension methods, they could also continue to live. Even those mortal hairy men could survive. This was also why Lang Yalan's spirit had kept this Steel Life Immortal Gu until now without using it. Even if Heavenly Court's Gu immortals are stronger, so what? We will compete with them using lifespan. First Supreme Elder, use Steel Life again. Fang Yuan's eyes burst with ruthlessness. He urged Lang Yalan's spirit. Lang Yalan's spirit smiled bitterly. Back then, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable was afraid that this Steel Life Immortal Gu would cause chaos in this world. Even though he gave it to my main body, he set up methods to only allow it to activate thrice before self-detonating. What? Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable is such a merciful person. The variant human Gu immortals were very surprised. As for Fang Yuan, thinking about Thieving Heaven's dream realm, he understood why. Who cares if it can be used thrice or twice? When else do you want to use it? Fang Yuan urged again. Lang Yalan's spirit nodded deeply, using Steel Life Immortal Gu again. In the blink of an eye, the red light retracted again. Ugh, Thunder Ghost True Monarch sighed with a weak tone. To think that I, Jinglan, would die here. She tried to open her eyes, but she was too weak. Her eyes closed again. She had died of old age. Chapter 1582. Time to retreat, Senior Jinglan. Fairy Ziwei cried out in sorrow. Chun-Yi and Feng Jiugu also had expressions of sorrow, hatred, anger, and other emotions. Jinglan's death was unexpected because they did not expect that Langya blessed land actually had Steel Life Immortal Gu. Wasn't it said that before Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable vanished mysteriously, he had been worried that Steel Life Gu was too powerful and would cause great chaos in the world if it ended in others' hands, so he destroyed it along with the Gu recipe? Fairy Ziwei frowned. Evidently, this was false information, but Heavenly Court thought it was real. If Fairy Ziwei wanted to know the details, she could only interrogate Lang Yalan's spirit after capturing him. After all, in the past, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had asked Longhair Ancestor to refine Gu for him. Whatever internal transaction they had, or whatever information they leaked to deceive Heavenly Court was known to only these two parties. Ha! Lang Yalan's spirit laughed heartily. You think that Langya's sect is so easy to bully? This time, you will all die. Be careful. Fang Yuan suddenly shouted in warning. What? At the next moment, Lang Yalan's spirit gasped. Because even though Jinglan died, her heart was still shining with lightning sparks. Soon, her aged body melted entirely from the lightning heart's heat and current. The electric current filled the black armor. This unmanned armor actually raised its head, bursting out with a grand aura that could trample heaven and earth. This, isn't she dead? Not good. This is not good. The variant human Gu immortals gasped in fear and shock. Fang Yuan had a grim expression, saying his deduction. Thunder Ghost True Monarch indeed died, but her black armor is soul path in essence. Even though she died, the armor remained. It is akin to a special soul. And most importantly, her heart seems to be the final trump card. It has great power. We need to be wary of it. But at this moment, Thunder Ghost True Monarch's armor burst out like a shooting star towards the silver giant. A vast amount of blue electric currents leaked out of the black armor, forming a trail of electricity behind it. Fast. The armor was extremely fast. After hearing Fang Yuan's words, the hairy men were forewarned, but they had no time to dodge or use killer moves, because it was too fast. Thunder Ghost True Monarch was most skilled at movement. Her strength overall was at high standard within rank 8, but her speed was at the peak of rank right. Right now, the lightning armor flew with speed that surpassed the peak of rank 8. It was at quasi-rank 9. The silver giant could not dodge. It was hit by the lightning armor. We will retreat. Fairy Ziwei's eyelids were twitching. She wanted to escape, but it was too late. Boom. An intense explosion occurred. Countless flashes of lightning weaved and danced. The central area turned into a pool of lightning plasma due to the dense electricity. At once, the world turned white. The light was simply too blinding. Countless mortal hairy men looked at the sky. They were crying, holding their eyes as they rolled on the ground. They had all gone blind after taking one glance. As the light faded, an unparalleled air current blew in all directions. Even Fairy Ziwei and the rest were pushed away. They could not help themselves. They were like rafts in the middle of a tsunami. The entire cloud cover continent's central area was blown to bits. A huge hole of gigantic size was created. The whole of Langya blessed land shook intensely. Originally, the refinement path Dao marks emitted dense light of Dao marks, but now within the range of the explosion, they were all destroyed. The refinement path Dao marks that were near the explosion had decreased greatly in numbers, while the ones left faded and dimmed. At the center of the explosion, there was an empty space. Only several Gu immortals remained in the vast area like tiny ants. Cough cough. The remaining variant human Gu immortals all had rank 7 cultivation level and were people with great battle strength. They continued to cough as they spat out blood. They were in a pathetic state. Langya Land's spirit was translucent now, fading like an illusory shadow. He was on the brink of collapsing. Only Fang Yuan was unharmed, but his expression was very dark. The reverse flow protection seal on him had been almost depleted. The reverse flow river within Sovereign Immortal Aperture had expended 10% of its water from this one attack. Worthy of the rank 8 expert that once resisted Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Even in death, she could retaliate to this extent. This move condensed all of her lightning path Dao marks into her heart, detonating it at once and erupting with overwhelming might. After that, the battlefield had no lightning path Dao marks remaining. It shows how she had made use of every single Dao mark. She definitely had lightning path Great Grandmaster attainment level. Fang Yuan's mind flashed with thoughts. Even though he was not injured, his losses were severe. Thunder Ghost True Monarch's final attack had quasi-rank 9 power. When the explosion occurred, the silver giant first resisted it, but after the silver giant broke apart, Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal resisted it. Even then, reverse flow river lost water amounting to 10% of its total capacity. Reverse flow river sustained the reverse flow protection seal killer move. It was not unlimited. Fang Yuan had used it multiple times already. Only 60% was left. Fang Yuan was in a better shape, but the rest were in pitiful conditions. The silver giant broke apart. The backlash coupled with Thunder Ghost True Monarch's final explosion caused half of the variant human Gu immortals to die. Their corpses were decimated. Their souls had disintegrated. Only their immortal apertures were left. The remaining immortals who were alive had severe injuries. Some showed shock on their faces, while others were emotionless. They were completely stupefied from the explosion. Thunder Ghost True Monarch's explosion caused great damage to the entire variant human alliance. Protect Langya Land Spirit. We still have Steel Life Gu. We can fight. Fang Yuan shouted. At the same time, he flew in front of Langya Land Spirit, protecting him. At the crucial moment, Fang Yuan had to control the situation. That's right. We have Steel Life Immortal Gu. The battle was at the most crucial moment. Langya Land Spirit knew that he could not be angry or upset now. He immediately moved to use Steel Life Immortal Gu a second time. Quickly act. Fairy Ziwei and Chun Yi charged. Seeing that Steel Life Immortal Gu was about to be used again, how could they not be anxious? Immortal Killer Move, Karma Divine Tree. Chun Yi's body shook as green smoke emerged to form a huge divine tree. Meanwhile, Fairy Ziwei attacked fiercely. Immortal Killer Move, Dead Inside from Sorrow. She directly used her strongest method. The emotion of sorrow quickly spread. There were no bright lights from her method. But many of the variant human Gu immortals defending Langya Land Spirit twitched as they grasped their hearts. Their eyes rolled over as they died mysteriously. Sixth Hair. Fang Yuan called out. Fairy Ziwei's attack could not be guarded against. Sixth Hair had barely survived the explosion earlier. He was almost dead. With this attack from Fairy Ziwei, he could not take it anymore. He died. Fang Yuan's expression changed. Even though he was unharmed, Reverse Flow River lost another 10% of its water. This meant that Fairy Ziwei's offensive killer move was on par with Thunder Ghost True Monarch's final self-detonated explosion. No! Save me! Langya Land Spirit shouted, grabbing Fang Yuan's arm as he used a defensive killer move against Fairy Ziwei's attack. Fang Yuan looked at him helplessly. Because Reverse Flow Protection Seal could only Protect him. It could not defend Langya land spirit as well. First Supreme Elder, you cannot use Steel Life Immortal Gu anymore in this state. The only way now is to move the entire Langya blessed land into my immortal aperture. That is the only way left. Fang Yuan urged with an earnest expression. But Langya land spirit rejected him. He stared at Fang Yuan angrily. No, this won't do. I can still fight. Bump. At the next moment, he reached his limit. His defensive methods were all broken. His entire body shattered into countless shards, dying on the spot, disintegrating and breaking down. Killed him. Fairy Ziwei saw this and relaxed. She almost fell down and fainted on the spot. Dead inside from sorrow had great backlash. Fairy Ziwei laughed bitterly in her heart. After using it this time, she would have to rest for a very long time. Langya land spirit. Damn it. Fang Yuan frowned, cursing. But I have not lost my chance. Maybe. At the next moment, at the place where Langya land spirit died, a figure appeared. He had a white beard and eyebrows. It was the previous white-haired Langya land spirit. Langya blessed land had two obsessions, causing there to be two land spirits. The black-haired land spirit was killed, but the white-haired land spirit appeared once again. What? A second Langya land spirit appeared. Fairy Ziwei frowned deeply. She knew of this secret, but she was very confident and dead inside from sorrow. She felt that both land spirits could be killed together. But the truth was, Langya blessed land was more profound than her estimations. Even though Fairy Ziwei could use dead inside from sorrow killer move again, there was no time. And could ordinary methods kill Langya land spirit, defended by Fang Yuan? Fairy Ziwei was not flustered. Instead, her lips curled up. She started to focus on defense, protecting her teammate. That teammate was Chen Yi. Chen Yi's Karma Divine Tree was already bearing a huge fruit. Every cause has an effect. The effect can eliminate the cause one. Chen Yi shouted as he extended his right hand, grabbing this fruit and squeezing it. Guh. The fruit was instantly squashed as the purple fruit juice splattered on Chen Yi's face and body like poisonous venom. Kai Chi Chi. Intense pain assaulted him as Chen Yi cried out. His face and body was corroded by the fruit juice. Pieces of flesh and skin rotted as his bones were exposed in a few breaths of time. Chen Yi paid such a huge price, injuring himself gravely to use Karma Divine Tree forcefully. He had his motive. Langya land spirit's expression changed as he said grimly. They destroyed Steel Life Immortal Gu. Sigh. Fang Yuan sighed deeply, urging again. Now, you can only fuse Langya blessed land into my... Before he finished, white-haired Langya land spirit interrupted. No need. My Langya blessed land has its trump card. My former main body had made an agreement with Giant Sun Immortal Venerable in the past. If we face any danger of extermination, we can request help from Longevity Heaven to seek help from Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's descendants. Afterwards, we will join Longevity Heaven and fuse into it while being on equal status. Saying so, a door opened deep within the blessed land. A few breaths of time later, legendary immemorial desolate beast Mao Li Chiu charged out from deep underground. Behind it, there were several Gu immortals with rank 8 aura approaching with battle intent. Langya blessed land is now the territory of Longevity Heaven. Heavenly Court, your claws are even longer than mine. I, Mao Li Chiu, will chop them all off today. Haha 1. Fang Yuan is here too. Kill him. We will take revenge for the collapse of 88 True Yang Building and reclaim the Luck Path True Inheritance. At once, with strong reinforcements, the situation of the battle was turned around immediately. Sigh. Fang Yuan let out a deep sigh. He told himself internally, it is time to retreat. Chapter 1583. Bull Demon, Flower Lady, First Supreme Elder. How can you say this? Longevity Heaven's members were filled with animosity towards Fang Yuan. He retreated as he chided Langya land spirit. Langya land spirit snorted, not showing Fang Yuan any kindness. I have not settled the score with you. You had ulterior motives and pushed black hair to the brink of destruction. Haven't you obtained enough benefits during this period? Langya land spirit turned on him. Fang Yuan's expression turned grim. Aren't you afraid of the alliance agreement? Black hair was the one who set the agreement with you, not me. Langya land spirit responded. As expected, Fang Yuan sighed internally. The white-haired land spirit's decision showed some problems. Fang Yuan had guessed it already. He merely confirmed it with Langya land spirit personally. Fang Yuan, where can you run to? Saying so, Mao Li Chiu pounced and slammed its claw on Fang Yuan. Boom. The huge force impacted Fang Yuan as he was pushed away. He crashed like a meteor onto the dried seabed. Even though Fang Yuan looked pathetic, he was unharmed, while Mao Li Chiu shrugged its claws and said with anger, this reverse flow river is truly annoying. Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals, fight us. A muscular brute with a thick beard said with a thunderous voice. He was extremely tall and strong, having a powerful aura. There was another Gu immortal. She was a little girl with a flower on her head. She sat on the muscular man's shoulder, giggling as her crystal-like eyes on her innocent cute face stared at Fairy Ziwei. The two Gu immortals had rank 8 cultivation level, but they did not attack Fang Yuan. They charged at Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei was a wisdom path Gu immortal. There was great risk for longevity heaven to keep her in the battlefield. She had to be eliminated first. Bull Demon, Flower Lady, you are both here. Fairy Ziwei's pupils shrunk. She recognized who these people were as solemnness flashed on her eyes. Ha ha ha, since you, Ziwei, can move around, so can the two of us. The brutish Bull Demon laughed maniacally. Boom boom boom. A chain of explosions occurred as Bull Demon and Flower Lady forced Fairy Ziwei to retreat time and again. Fairy Ziwei had little lifespan to begin with. She was lucky to have Star Constellation True Inheritance helping her, but after facing the effect of Steel Life twice, she was in a poor state now. In contrast, Longevity Heaven expended its foundation and summoned Bull Demon and Flower Lady in perfect condition. They had the advantage. Fairy Ziwei blocked their attacks while observing the battlefield. When she saw that Mao Liqiu slashed at Fang Yuan, she suddenly reminded. Be careful. Fang Yuan had rank 7 fixed immortal travel. Don't let him escape. Even though Longevity Heaven wanted her dead, she was still calm as ice. She was not overwhelmed by them. Her intention to kill Fang Yuan had never wavered. Mao Liqiu frowned immediately. They had brought 3 rank 8s, 1 legendary immemorial desolate beast, and 1 immortal Gu house here, but they were not space path related. Fixed immortal travel was a space path immortal Gu. Only space path Gu immortals were the most skilled at countering it. Mao Liqiu had a change of mind as it charged at Fang Yuan, shouting at Langya Land Spirit. Old man, quickly act, deal with Fang Yuan. We will give you a lot of credit for it. Langya Land Spirit was hesitant, but he quickly shouted. Shut up, Mao Liqiu. Since Fang Yuan wants to leave, let him. What rights do you have to order me around? Even though I sought help from Longevity Heaven, according to our agreement back then, we are on equal status. Langya Land Spirit had thought of killing Fang Yuan, but he soon thought of how Heavenly Court and Longevity Heaven failed to kill Fang Yuan after hunting him down for so long. How could he succeed? Fang Yuan knew everything about Langya Blessed Land. He also had Great Thief Ghost Hand, Reverse, Flow Protection Seal, Fixed Immortal Travel, and countless and scrupulous methods. Langya Land Spirit did not want to aggravate such a demon. You, Mao Liqiu shouted in anger, but it could not do anything to Langya Land Spirit. Langya Land Spirit said to the remaining variant human Gu immortals, you are all clear of the situation now. Even though Black Hair died, I am not restricted by the agreement. But don't worry, as long as you all join my Langya Blessed Land, I can ensure your safety. The variant human Gu immortals had ugly expressions. They looked at each other and nodded. There was no choice. They were exposed now and were under the alliance agreement. Langya Land Spirit also knew a lot about them. There was no options left. If they did not want to die, they would need to surrender. Ancient Sword Dragon Transformation. Myriad Dragon. Familiar Face. Fang Yuan used 3 moves at once. With Myriad Self-Immortal Gu, he could be very efficient in using consecutive killer moves. Before Mao Liqiu got close to him, it had to face the Myriad Dragon Army. Mao Liqiu growled, using immortal killer moves to summon wind, frost, and lightning, killing countless Sword Dragon clones. But at this time, Fang Yuan had already gotten close to Langya Land Spirit. Be careful, he is there. 5 Elements Grandmaster shouted. He found out Fang Yuan's location in advance. He had sneaked into Longevity Heaven but got trapped in Immortal Gu House Calamity Luck Altar after he was discovered. After a long time of resisting the Longevity Heaven Gu immortals, 5 Elements Grandmaster realized that he had no chance of escaping. He could only lower his head and join Longevity Heaven. This time, Longevity Heaven came to reinforce Langya Blessed Land. He was one of the ones who came. He actually found me. But it is too late. Fang Yuan turned into the ancient sword dragon and roared. His dragon fangs were sharp and sinister. Fang Yuan, what are you trying to do? Langya Land Spirit shouted in shock. He quickly used his defensive immortal killer move. Naturally to kill you. Immemorial Yama Child, Soul Explosion. Fang Yuan shouted angrily. Boom. The rank 8 killer move erupted. Pitch black smoke spread out as it engulfed everything. The entire Langya Land Spirit was covered in the black smoke. Don't. The variant human Gu immortals shouted. Quickly stop. We are allies by marriage. Snowman Gu immortal Bing Yuan screamed. But at this moment, Fang Yuan could not care about their lives anymore. Langya Land Spirit knew too much. Since it did not want to join Fang Yuan, it had to die. Quickly save the Land Spirit. Don't let him die. Mao Liqiu was so shocked its hair was standing. It resisted the soul explosion as it charged at Fang Yuan. Calamity Luck Altar. 5 Elements Grandmaster directly let out this immortal Gu house and went inside. crashing towards Fang Yuan while moving it. Calamity Luck Altar was one of the foundations of longevity heaven. They had actually brought it over to help Lang Ye blessed land. Humph, he escaped quickly. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with a cold light. He did not take Lang Ye Land's spirit's life. At the crucial moment, Lang Ye Land's spirit teleported away. If 5 Elements Grandmaster had not reminded him, Lang Ye Land's spirit might not have reacted in time. But now, this was his domain. Without using other methods to restrict him, he could teleport away from Fang Yuan. It is not so easy to take my life. Everyone, we will meet again. Fang Yuan looked around as he left his final words, using fixed immortal travel afterwards. He was in the center of the soul explosion. It was like the eye of the tornado. He was safe and sound. To approach Fang Yuan, the rest had to resist the soul explosion, which had dense soul path down marks. Their immortal killer moves were restricted. Rank 7 Immortal Gu, fixed immortal travel. Jade light flashed as Fang Yuan vanished on the spot. Before anyone could interfere, he retreated. Successfully. We did not manage to kill this demon. Fairy Zi felt regretful. Mao Li Chiu roared in anger. Its bloodshot eyes stared at Fairy Zi. Without Fang Yuan, only longevity heaven and heavenly court were left. Bam bam bam. Continuous explosions resounded. The battle went into the climax right from the start. Stop, stop, don't destroy my blessed land. Damn it. Lang Ye Land's spirit stomped his feet in anger, moving away as he tried to gather the lucky survivors on the 3 continents. Fang Yuan's vision changed. When he regained his senses, he was in an underground cave. Fixed immortal travel is just so convenient. Fang Yuan sighed. After stealing this rank 7 fixed immortal travel, he placed it in Heaven Sealing Mountain's immortal formation for refinement. It quickly became Fang Yuan's. After confirming that there were no traps, Fang Yuan used it and left Lang Ye blessed land. Lang Ye blessed land had rank 8 Gu immortals fighting, while outside there was Prince Feng Xian lying in ambush. Fang Yuan was an eyesore for both forces. He could not stay. If others were given enough time, or if he was hit by any special move and could not leave, it would be too stupid of him. Who is it? Ah, it's Elder Fang Yuan. Several rank 6 Gu immortals sensed the immortal aura as they ran over. After seeing Fang Yuan, they bowed and asked, Elder Fang Yuan, how is the situation in Lang Ye blessed land? Fang Yuan smiled viciously. He did not speak. He spread his arms instead. Immortal killer move, Yama battlefield. Chapter 1584, Slaughter, what happened? Immortal battlefield, this is not funny. Lord Fang Yuan, we are on the same side. Panic and shouting ensued. The Rockman and Snowman Gu immortals screamed while revealing deep wariness in their eyes. In the current world, humans were the dominant race. These snowmen and rockmen were living desperately in the icy plane. They had a huge pressure of survival. In this environment, those variant humans who could become Gu immortals were not useless. If not for Fang Yuan's rank 7 aura and publicly recognized rank 8 battle strength, these rank 6 variant human Gu immortals might have attacked already. Fang Yuan's expression did not change. He looked at the sole rank 7 Gu immortal among the variant humans as he sighed. Don't panic. I am your ally. How can I harm you? Lang Ye blessed land lost the battle. Only I managed to escape. We lost because there was a traitor among you. What? We lost. Lang Ye blessed land has been taken over by Heavenly Court. We have a traitor? Fang Yuan's words were shocking. All the variant human Gu immortals were deeply shook. The sole rank 7 Snowman Gu immortal frowned deeply. Lord Fang Yuan, please open the immortal battlefield. Let us communicate with our tribe. But before he finished his words, his body shook. He screamed, My immortal Gu. It was Fang Yuan's great thief ghost hand. It had succeeded in stealing the Gu. The other variant human Gu immortals were confused. They asked in concern, Lord Bingzhua, what happened? That's right. The Snowman Gu immortal guarding their base was Bingzhua. He had a rather good relationship with Fang Yuan. He had once invited Fang Yuan to drink his ice wolf wine. Bingzhua stared at Fang Yuan angrily. He was about to scream when Fang Yuan took the initiative and pointed at him, saying with great certainty, You are the traitor. The variant human Gu immortals felt deep shock again. I am not a traitor. Fang Yuan, you stole my immortal Gu and accused me. What is your intention? Bingzhua was furious. He grabbed the air as a pair of ice spears formed in his hands, emanating with deep frost energy. Fang Yuan smiled coldly and said with deep anger and sadness, I am right. You guys heard correctly. Look, my alliance agreement did not trigger. This Bingzhua is a heavenly court Gu immortal in disguise. The real Bingzhua died long ago. The other variant human Gu immortals looked at each other. Female immortal Shui Er was Fang Yuan's fiancée. She asked, Is there any misunderstanding? Lord Bingzhua has been with us all along. I am not a traitor. There has to be some misunderstanding. Lord Fang Yuan, you might have fallen for the enemy's ploy. Quickly return my immortal Gu. Bingzhua said with a cold expression. But at the next moment, Shui Er's body shook as she revealed great fear. My immortal Gu. Bing Zhuo was covered in frost energy. Great thief ghost hand could not approach him. But Shui Er was an easy target. Fang Yuan. Shui Er looked at Fang Yuan in disbelief. Bing Zhuo charged at Fang Yuan as he shouted in anger. I knew you humans were all incorrigible. Fang Yuan snickered. Clown. Saying so, Yama children emerged from his emperor's robe. Dozens of them flew out towards Bing Zhuo and the other variant human Gu immortals. At this moment, Fang Yuan exposed his ill intent. The variant human Gu immortals no longer had any illusions. They charged at Fang Yuan after a temporary shock. But how could their strength match these Yama children with rank 7 battle strength? After the first clash, the variant human Gu immortals formation was broken by the Yama children. They were separated and forced into their respective desperate fights. Fang Yuan turned into Emperor Yama form and controlled the situation while he watched these variant human Gu immortals fight the Yama children. Yama children were useless against Feng Gu and the rest, but against the variant human Gu immortals, they were sufficient. If not for Fang Yuan intentionally holding back, these rank 6 variant human Gu immortals would have been killed by the Yama children already. The only rank 7 Gu immortal Bing Zhuo was also in a tough fight. He could not escape. Great Thief, Ghost Hand. Great Thief, Ghost Hand. Great Thief, Ghost Hand. Fang Yuan used Great Thief, Ghost Hand consecutively, stealing the immortal Gu of these variant human Gu immortals one by one. This was the reason why Fang Yuan held back. If he forced them too much, they would despair and destroy their immortal Gu and resources. Fang Yuan would lose all his gains. But now that they had hope, these variant human Gu immortals would resist till the end. Only few were as resolute as Meng Tu in suiciding. Furthermore, the variant humans had been living in seclusion. They only sparred regularly. They had little experience with battles that involved life and death. As a wisdom path Gu immortal, Fang Yuan had already deciphered the thoughts of these variant humans right now. Even though his tactic was simple, it was incredibly effective. The variant human Gu immortals had their immortal Gu stolen. Their battle strength fell drastically. They were becoming weaker. Fang Yuan, I was wrong about you. How can you be so unscrupulous? You harmed your allies. A Rockman Gu immortal shouted in anger and agony. Bing Zhuo smiled coldly. Haven't you realized? This guy has gotten rid of the alliance agreement already. He is not an ally. He is an enemy. Sigh, you speak too much crap. Fang Yuan sighed lightly, making a Yama child self-detonate. Immortal killer move, soul explosion. Bing Zhuo was a close combat specialist. The Yama child was too close to him. He could not dodge. After getting hit, the explosion destroyed his corpse entirely. Lord Bing Zhuo. A sorrowful cry resounded. Shui Er almost fainted. Fang Yuan had a cold expression. He had almost stolen all of these Gu immortals' immortal Gu. The rest were well guarded, and Great Thief Ghost Hand could not get close to them. Fang Yuan had limited time. He did not want to drag this on. He started to kill them. Variant human Gu immortals died one after another. Only Shui Er was left eventually. You demon, I will not let you off even as a ghost. Shui Er had a distorted expression, saying her final words with deep hatred. At once, several Yama children went up and tore her into pieces of shredded meat. As for her soul, it was preserved in Yama battlefield, imprisoned by Fang Yuan along with the other variant human Gu immortals' souls. Soul search. Using his extremely proficient soul search method, Fang Yuan quickly grasped the details of the Snowman and Rockman tribes. Fang Yuan dispelled Yama battlefield as he returned to the IC plane again. This slaughter took some time, but the process was not hindered by any external forces. There were no deductions or attacks on Yama battlefield. This showed that the variant human Gu immortals were the final batch of Gu immortals left here. According to the soul search results, Fang Yuan went deep underground and found large numbers of Rockman and Snowman Gu masters, and even more normal mortals. Fang Yuan forcefully moved them all into his sovereign immortal aperture. After a while, he excavated the treasury of these two tribes and moved them into his immortal aperture. The Snowman tribe's Ice Tear and the Rockman tribe's Bumpy Rice were specialty immortal materials of the two tribes. Other than that, there were normal immortal materials left behind from the Olden Antiquity era and Remote Antiquity era. They were all nearly non-existent by now, unable to be found in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Among them, there was face-changing silver. This metal could mimic any beautiful woman and turn into their face. As for the immortal apertures of the dead variant human Gu immortals, Fang Yuan sealed them temporarily. He did not want to land the apertures here. Rank 7 fixed immortal travel. Using this immortal Gu, Fang Yuan left freely, leaving the empty crime scene behind. This paradise of the Rockmen and Snowmen had been destroyed completely. At the next moment, Fang Yuan appeared in southern border. Who? The two Gu immortals in southern border shouted as Fang Yuan activated Emperor Yama. Fang Yuan smiled coldly as he pointed. Soul explosion. Soul explosion. Soul explosion. Soul explosion. After 5 to 6 soul explosions, the 2 southern border Gu immortals ran away in great fear. Who was this person? He was simply crazy, attacking with a series of killer moves at once that were all at rank 7 peak power. The 2 immortals left using the immortal Gu formation. Fang Yuan could do nothing about it. But soon, he destroyed this immortal Gu formation with brute force and destroyed the 2 immortal Gu and countless mortal Gu inside. Once the immortal formation was destroyed, the inside was exposed. Fang Yuan smiled. This flowing light was bright and dazzling. It was a dream realm. Chapter 1585. Fang Yuan's attainment levels. This dream realm was not very big. The reason why Fang Yuan could find it was because he had thrown this dream realm out personally. Back then, he disguised as Wu Yi and entered the righteous path, secretly entering dream realms to raise his attainment level. When the battle started, Heavenly Court interfered, and Purple Mountain True Monarch died. Fang Yuan inherited Shadow Sect and brought the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies and escaped for his life. Along the way, he used the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies to resist the strong enemies and managed to escape safely. But he used up all the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies in the process. This place was where Fang Yuan fought against E-Clan's Gu Immortals. He detonated 2 pure dream reality seeker physique bodies and forced back E-Clan's immortal Gu House Bay Pavilion. After the pure dream reality seeker physique bodies detonated, they formed into this dream realm. The southern border Gu Immortals were not going to let it go. After some contest, 2 clans won and created an immortal formation to develop using this dream realm. Fang Yuan used fixed immortal travel to arrive here and sent the guarding Gu Immortals running before he destroyed the immortal formation. Even though using Great Thief Ghost Hand now could steal Gu worms, it could not target immortal Gu specifically. With so many mortal Gu here, there was a big chance of Great Thief Ghost Hand stealing mortal Gu consecutively. To prevent the immortal formation from sending reinforcements or self-detonating, Fang Yuan decided to strike first and destroyed it. Even though immortal Gu were unique, Fang Yuan did not really mind it now. Fang Yuan had a lot of immortal Gu. After slaughtering the Rockman and Snowman Gu Immortals, he gained a lot of rank 6 and 7 immortal Gu. There was going to be a headache later on how to feed them. What Fang Yuan lacked were immortal Gu that suited him. Firstly, they had to be rank 7 for him. Rank 6 immortal Gu were too low rank now. And the path also had to be among the ones he was specialized in. With Fang Yuan's refinement path quasi-supreme Grandmaster attainment level, any immortal Gu recipe could be turned into an immortal killer move. If he needed any specific immortal Gu, he could use immortal Gu to deduce recipes and use them instead. Of course, the deduction's difficulty would vary according to the specific situations. Even with the light of wisdom, some immortal Gu recipes that needed decades or even centuries would be ignored by Fang Yuan in this case. The dream realm has shrunk a little. Fang Yuan noticed when he took a second look. The original dream realm was made of 2 pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. It was slightly smaller now, because others explored it and consumed it. Other Gu Immortals did not have Fang Yuan's advanced methods, but they could still explore it for dream path Gu materials. But these materials could be harvested in their own dreams too. The true value of dream realms was the true meaning left behind by others. The southern border Gu Immortals were simply giving up the treasure for scraps. But they were happy to do this. The forces were busy gathering dream path Gu materials and buying them for high prices in Treasure Yellow Heaven. If I remember correctly, these 2 dream realms are Ice and Snow Path along with Space Path. These dream realms originate from Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. He was a great Grandmaster in every path. His dream realms comprise all the different paths currently known. Fang Yuan had specially chosen these pure dream reality seeker physique bodies. But because he was trying to escape, he gave up on them as they were not very useful to him. But that was in the past. Right now, they were very useful. Fang Yuan needed Space Path attainment level because he could design an immortal killer move for fixed immortal travel so that the teleportation time was reduced. Fang Yuan needed Ice and Snow Path attainment level even more. He had just killed many variant human Gu Immortals. The immortal apertures that the Snowman Gu Immortals left behind were mostly Ice and Snow Path. He needed attainment level to annex them. Right now, among my paths, Refinement Path is the highest at Quasi-Supreme Grandmaster, followed by Theft Path at Great Grandmaster. The third group of Strength Path, Wisdom Path, Star Path, Transformation Path, Blood Path, Dark Path, Formation Path, and Water Path are all at Grandmaster attainment level. The fourth group are Luck Path, Soul Path, Enslavement Path, and Earth Path at Master attainment level. Below that are Sword Path, Space Path, Time Path, Dream Path, Poison Path, Fire Path, Metal Path, and others. They are all ordinary. And finally, Information Path, ice and snow path, chi path, light path, sound path, phantom path, rule path, and others. I have not been involved in them in both lives. Among all his paths, Fang Yuan needed to raise time path the most. His time path attainment level was only ordinary. Fang Yuan had to become a Grandmaster at the very least. Heavenly Court is too big and strong. It had countless hibernating experts. Even now, with the wisdom path great expert Fairy Ziwei leading them, with Chun-Yi and the rest supporting her, they managed to invade Langya blessed land without even Duke Long's presence. If not for long-hair ancestors and giant sun immortal venerables agreement, so that Langya blessed land could gain longevity heaven's assistance, it would have fallen already. Fang Yuan was not someone who did not know his limit. He knew clearly. Even if he had reverse flow protection seal and Emperor Yama, or even if he deduced Luo seal, he was only counted as a rank 8 Gu immortal. Against Heavenly Court, his strength as a single individual was useless. In his previous life, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable led Shadow Sect and successfully defied heaven, mixing into Heavenly Court and concealing himself, becoming the mastermind that wreaked havoc in the 5 regions, secretly supporting Ma Hongyun and Western Desert's Tang clan, even causing the death of Feng Jiugu in Langya blessed land and Feng Jinhuang's death by Fang Yuan and the others. Shadow Sect was behind all these events. They had unfathomably deep influence. But now, Heavens will use Fang Yuan as a pawn to rebirth and change the past. Shadow Sect lost the fight, and Heavenly Court had the absolute advantage. Fang Yuan was using Shadow Sect's inheritance to maintain his footing, but it was too difficult to deal with Heavenly Court. The loss of Langya blessed land was a clear example. My only hope of defeating Heavenly Court is to obtain Red Lotus True Inheritance. Using the power of Red Lotus True Inheritance, I will resist Heavenly Court and destroy Fake Gu. But to inherit Red Lotus True Inheritance, I will need to enter the River of Time. Heavenly Court must already have a huge force in there waiting for me. Even now that Fairy Ziwei and the rest were trapped in Langya blessed land fighting against Longevity Heaven's experts, Fang Yuan did not think of exploring the River of Time. How could Fairy Ziwei leave out such a big flaw? The River of Time contained countless time path down marks. Even though the sovereign immortal body was not restricted, when Fang Yuan uses killer moves of any other path, it would be greatly weakened. Rank 6 immortal killer moves would become as weak as mortal killer moves. Earlier, Fang Yuan entered the River of Time to catch Heavenly Court off guard, because he had the immemorial Year Monkey, and because Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had already taken over one of the Stone Lotus Islands. Eventually, he used the Stone Lotus Island to kill Lord Huang Shi, but in the process, he did not truly fight. And now, Fang Yuan wanted to find another true inheritance of Red Lotus. He wanted to find a new Stone Lotus Island. The immemorial Year Monkey died in Langya blessed land. While Fang Yuan's reverse flow protection seal, Emperor Yama, and other killer moves were all weakened in there. In the River of Time, the most suitable methods are time path killer moves. Even though I have Hei Fan's True Inheritance and Spectral Soul's True Inheritance has lots of time path details, the former lacks an offensive rank 8 time path method. Even though years flow like water is rank 8, its effect is to produce Year Gu and create defensive killer moves. As for the latter, Spectral Soul's True Inheritance has many time path offensive methods, including rank 8, but I do not have the necessary time path immortal Gu. Thus, Fang Yuan wanted to obtain time path Grandmaster attainment level and use the light of wisdom to deduce killer moves that he could use personally. With these methods, he would be able to resist Heavenly Court in the River of Time. Immortal killer move, Heaven's Will Dissipation. While thinking, Fang Yuan multitasked and completed his killer move. A gray-white light appeared on his body. The gray-white light spread into the dream realm in front of him as it spread their radiance everywhere, like ink entering clear water. Soon, the entire dream realm was covered by gray-white light specks. The multicolored eyes appeared from these specks. These eyes were very special. They changed colors with each blink. The number of multicolored eyes increased rapidly. After a few breaths of time, they went from tens to hundreds and to thousands in a flash. The colored eyeballs blinked continuously. Each time they blinked, it was an attack against Heaven's will. Eventually, the multicolored eyes fell in numbers until they vanished entirely. Immortal killer move, Pure Dream Reality Seeker Transformation. Fang Yuan used a second move as this dream realm condensed into 2 human figures. One was intact, while the other was handicapped. Fang Yuan opened his immortal aperture's entrance and sent these 2 Pure Dream Reality Seeker physique bodies inside. Using fixed immortal travel, he vanished in a few breaths of time, leaving behind an empty space. Chapter 1586. Snow Crystal Formation. The 2 Pure Dream Reality Seeker physique bodies entered the sovereign immortal aperture and settled down in mini green heaven. The sovereign immortal aperture had 5 regions and 9 heavens. Among all the 9 heavens, Mini Green Heaven was the least developed. Thus, Fang Yuan used it as the storage area of dream realms. Shadow Sect's members, Ing Wu Xia, Lady White Rabbit, He Lu Lan, Fairy Miao Yin, and Bai Ning Bing were all cultivating in Mini Yellow Heaven. Lang Ya's battle was too high-end. Everyone who participated had rank 8 battle strength. Even the variant human Gu immortals relied on the super immortal formation to fight. Once it was destroyed, they could not fight anymore. In a crucial moment, Fang Yuan would possibly need the Shadow Sect members to use ancient battle formation omnidirectional travel, so they did not join that fight after all. As for Fang Yuan's time path clone, he was at the most northern part of many northern plains. TCH. With a soft click, as the time path clone placed the final mortal Gu in, the Gu formation activated. This Gu formation had a huge range of a few dozen square kilometers of land. There were tens of thousands of mortal Gu used to create it from rank 1 to 5. They were of all paths, but most of the Gu worms were ice and snow path. The core was made of 2 ice path immortal Gu. They were obtained from the snowman Gu immortals, refined into Fang Yuan's property. The cores of the Gu formation were 3 of the rank 8 immortal material, ice path crystal essence. Each ice path crystal essence was large like a mountain peak. The entire crystal was ice blue in color. It had crystallized texture. The surface had countless holes of varying sizes. A large amount of cold and icy air was spewing out of these holes unceasingly. If the frosty air was allowed to spread, the ice and snow path Dao marks would also be carved in the surroundings, modifying the environment and creating a habitat suitable for snowmen and snow monsters to live in. Thus, Fang Yuan's plan earlier was to use an ice path crystal essence to create a snow monster production line and establish new sources of revenue. His original ice path crystal essence was obtained from his marriage with Shui Air. But earlier, he slaughtered the snowman tribe and obtained 2 more ice path crystal essences. With these 3 ice path crystal essences, I can easily produce snow monsters. I will name this formation Snow Crystal Formation. Fang Yuan's time path clone observed for a while before nodding in satisfaction. Attainment level was shared between his clone and main body. Fang Yuan had formation path Grandmaster attainment level, so did his clone. This was different from Shadow Sect. Back then, in order to deceive Heaven, Spectral Soul made use of the fact that his split soul clones did not carry his full attainment level, so that almost all of them only focused on one path. Even if Shadow Sect's members fought against Heavenly Court, they would not be found out as the Demon Venerable's split soul. This was also why Shadow Sect was able to plant spies into Heavenly Court. As for Fang Yuan's time path clone, it was easy to expose, but Fang Yuan did not need it to go outside and fight anyway. Fang Yuan's motive was different from Spectral Soul. His time path clone was meant to make use of the light of wisdom, and to deduce matters in the light of wisdom, attainment level was needed. Fang Yuan made a wise choice between the 2 options. The snow crystal formation was created by time path clone. Its main purpose was to emit the frost energy that would constantly alter the environment inch by inch. Of course, the formation also had the ability to monitor and control the area. It is a pity I am a formation path Grandmaster and not a Great Grandmaster. Grandmasters can mimic other paths while Great Grandmasters can use natural Dao marks directly. If I am a Great Grandmaster, I will not need Ice Path Immortal Gu for this snow crystal formation. I can use these 3 Ice Path crystal essences directly. This way, Fang Yuan would be able to free up these 2 Ice Path Immortal Gu for other uses. Of course, Fang Yuan did not lack Immortal Gu, so that was not an issue. But normally speaking, Gu Immortals had very few Immortal Gu. If they used the Immortal Gu for formations, they would not be able to use them in other aspects. Thus, attainment level had an incredible effect. Gu Immortals could save use of Immortal Gu. After setting up the snow crystal formation, Fang Yuan's time path clone flew away. Even though he was not a land spirit and could not teleport, he had Immortal Gu and could fly very quickly. After a while, the time path clone went past several hundred li as he looked down on the ground while concealing his figure. There was a group of moving snowmen on the ground. They were either mortals or Gu masters. They were all captured by Fang Yuan from the northern icy plain. There were several thousand of them. Snowman slaves on the order of thousands in numbers were not rare in Treasure Yellow Heaven. But the quality of this batch far exceeded the norm, because among these snowman slaves, Gu masters were a high proportion. This was not normal. In Treasure Yellow Heaven, this batch of snowmen could be exchanged for 10 times the usual number of snowman slaves. These snowmen had left the place where they lived for a long time and entered the sovereign immortal aperture. They were very fearful and timid. At this moment, the group moved forward while conversing intensely. When Fang Yuan slaughtered the snowman and rockman Gu immortals, it was inside the immortal battlefield. He kept it hidden. When he captured these snowmen, he disguised as a snowman Gu immortal, so these slaves did not know the truth. Immortal killer move, familiar face. Fang Yuan's time path clone turned into Bing Zhuo and descended from the sky. Using Gu worms, he created a blizzard in the sky as snow descended slowly. The immortal of our tribe. Quickly kneel down. Kneel down and greet Lord Immortal. Welcome, great immortal Bing Zhuo. The snowmen quickly knelt as they paid respects to Fang Yuan's time path clone. Fang Yuan's time path clone was expressionless, saying, "The world is in chaos, but we are in paradise. The three mountains have immortal fog. The snow race has nothing to fear." His voice was not loud, but it was heard by everyone clearly. Whoosh! A gust of wind blew as the blizzard stopped. The snowmen raised their heads, but only saw the empty sky. Bing Zhuo's figure had faded with the wind. The snowmen were stunned. After realizing that Bing Zhuo had vanished, they got up with joy on their faces. They thought about his words. The snowman tribe leader thought and said to the elders, "Earlier, we came here due to the vague guidance of great immortal Bing Zhuo. He wanted us to come here. And now, he has shown up to tell us that there are 3 mountains ahead where we can live in peace." After talking for a while, everyone agreed and set off. They were no longer hesitant. Even though they brought the young and old with them, the speed was much faster than earlier. To create snow monsters, the snow crystal formation was not needed. Just the 3 ice path crystal essences were enough to show effect just by existing. It was a simple matter. But Time Path Clone spent so much effort to create the snow crystal formation. He wanted to give these snowmen a place to live and grow. With the snow crystal formation, the snow monsters and snowmen can live here without obstructing one another. But I cannot isolate them completely. I need them to interact and conflict with each other, so as to develop. The snow crystal formation's maintenance is not a problem with food path methods, but the 3 ice path crystal essences are expendable. They will be used up eventually. Time Path Clone flew as he thought. The frost energy that the ice path crystal essence emits contains the ice and snow path down marks of the crystal itself. These down marks would be carved in the surroundings for a while before dissipating. They would not increase Sovereign Immortal Aperture's total number of ice and snow path down marks. But the environment it creates would suit the snow monsters and snowmen a lot. But it was too early for this problem. The 3 ice path crystal essences would only be depleted after a long time. After managing the snowmen, the Time Path Clone went to Mini Southern Border and had the Rockmen settle down. In the 5 mini regions, Mini Southern Border had the densest earth path down marks. It was most suited for Rockmen to live in. The process of settling down the Rockmen was very simple. The Time Path Clone used almost the same method as before. While the Time Path Clone was managing the Immortal Aperture, Fang Yuan's main body was at another end of Southern Border. This was a huge earth trench. It was deep and dark. Even in broad daylight, it was covered in darkness. These dark shadows were dark path Dao beasts, shadow monsters. This was Plunder Shadow Earth Trench. Back then, I succeeded in learning ancient battle formation omnidirectional travel here. I used many pure dream reality seeker physique bodies to stop the righteous path pursuers. Fang Yuan observed and had a moved expression. Southern Border's righteous path built an immortal formation here too, and it is not weak at all. Who is it? This is an important place of Southern Border's righteous path. Any unauthorized lone immortal should leave before regretting it. At this time, a Southern Border Gu immortal's voice resounded from the clouds. He was hidden within the immortal formation, not showing his true figure. Oh! Fang Yuan's lips curled up, killing intent surging in his eyes. I want to see how you'll make me regret it. Boom. With a loud sound, he started to attack the immortal formation forcefully. Boom, boom, boom. With a chain of explosions, multicolored lights shone like fireworks. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wisdom, strength, soul, poison, star, refinement, killer moves of many paths were used easily by Fang Yuan. Under such attacks, the figure of an immortal formation appeared. It was like a reinforced castle. White lights shielded it like a mountain, blocking all of Fang Yuan's attacks. Ha ha ha. Colorful attacks with little power. Your methods are too flashy. They cannot take down our formation. Within the Immortal Gu formation, Yang Clan's Gu Immortal Yang San Mu mocked loudly. Fang Yuan was currently in Emperor Yama form. Southern Border's Gu Immortals could not tell who he truly was. No, this person's formation path attainment is not low. He is using all sorts of methods to probe our formation. Chi Chio's expression changed as he said in a low tone. This Immortal Gu formation was set up by Chi Clan. Chi Chio was tasked here to guard it. As a formation path cultivator, his words were seriously noted by the rest. Yang Sanmu frowned immediately, asking Chi Chio, "We are defending passively. Do we let him continue testing his moves?" Chi Chio shook his head. Our formation has offensive methods too. When the Gu formation is destroyed to some extent, the attacks will be unleashed. Don't look at me. I cannot command the Gu formation to retaliate. All of you know that this setup has its reason. I am sure there is no need for me to explain it. The immortals looked at each other helplessly. The fundamental cause was Fang Yuan after all. He had once disguised as Wu Yi and mixed into Southern Border's righteous path. At the crucial moment, he controlled the immortal formation and left after gaining great benefits. Southern Border's Gu immortals lost a lot of face. They made changes after that battle. Qi clan's immortal formations were no longer controlled by outsiders. They operated on their own. It was to prevent traitors like Fang Yuan from succeeding. Yang Sanmu saw that Qi Qiu was without options. He turned to look at Xia clan's Gu immortal Xia Fan. Xia Fan was a wisdom path cultivator. Seeing that Yang Sanmu had turned to him, he shook his head and answered, "The other party has very powerful wisdom path defensive methods. I cannot deduce his origins, unless we can gain crucial information later." Yang Sanmu heard this, and his expression sank. Next, he shouted at Fang Yuan, "Ha, scoundrel! Why are you using so little strength? Are you here to scratch my back?" Yang Sanmu, Qi Qiu, and Xia Fan had rank 7 cultivation level. They were also defended by the immortal formation. They did not fear the rank 7 Gu immortal Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan snickered and ignored him. He continued to probe this formation from different angles. "This immortal formation is more complex and strong than I had expected." Yang Sanmu continued to provoke him, but Fang Yuan was completely immune to his words. Yang Sanmu frowned. "He is just one rank 7 Gu immortal, while we have many people in the immortal formation. If we hide here and let him attack freely, wouldn't we lose face in the righteous path? Will any Gu immortal be willing to face this daring scoundrel? If you can kill him, it will be quite a good story." Once he said that, nobody moved. Almost all Gu immortals were not rash people. It might seem easy to deal with Fang Yuan, who was alone, but that was the problem. Why would any ordinary rank 7 Gu immortal have the guts to attack this fortified immortal formation alone? The Southern Border immortals were thinking that an ambush was likely here. They were not going to take the risk. Yang Sanmu could not get anyone to move. He was quite gloomy. He was the temporary leader among these people. If they avoided battle this time, news would spread and others would put the blame on him. Yang Sanmu would lose the most reputation among them. Right now, Southern Border's earth veins are moving as immortal materials, and immortal Gu are being exposed constantly from the earth trenches. And yet I am here guarding a bunch of dream realms. I wanted to go around and leave this post. After paying a huge cost, I was about to succeed. But if I avoid battle this time, and allow this person to leave, the clan would have an excuse and evidence against me. I will never be able to relocate myself. Thinking of this, Yang Sanmu gritted his teeth. The enemy is quite peculiar. As a righteous path member, I cannot let him off. Everyone, guard the formation. I will go fight him. The Gu immortals heard this and had varying expressions. Some urged him to be careful. Some clapped and praised him for the bravery. Some assured Yang Sanmu that they would guard the formation and he could go in peace. Yang Sanmu sneered in his heart, but showed an attitude of acting for a righteous cause. After saying some words that boosted his reputation, he left the formation to fight Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan saw him and was slightly surprised, before understanding Yang Sanmu's mentality immediately. Soul Explosion. Fang Yuan pointed as an immortal killer move was used against Yang Sanmu. Yang Sanmu fought against Fang Yuan for some rounds. He could not take it much more. He panicked as he thought, "This person must cultivate soul path." Even though his attacks are simple, they were very powerful, and his defensive method is very profound. I am not his match, and will lose sooner or later. I should retreat now while it has not turned ugly yet. I have found out about his background anyway. I can explain myself later. But Fang Yuan's battle experience was incredibly deep. After seeing that Yang Sanmu had the intention to retreat, he quickly activated Yama Battlefield. Instantly, Yang Sanmu's vision changed. He was trapped inside Yama Battlefield with no way of escaping. Yang Sanmu was shocked. Immortal Battlefield? How can this be? How can there be such a rapidly activated immortal battlefield in this world? He was shocked and panicked, but he tried to stay calm. Don't fluster. This immortal battlefield was created so quickly, it must be deeply flawed. Maybe it is easy to deduce and break. I have other immortals on my side. They will have seen this immortal battlefield appear and surely help me get out of this. Fang Yuan pointed as 3 Yama children attacked Yang Sanmu. Yang Sanmu's heart jumped. He fought as he retreated, trying to stall for time. Immortal killer move, Great Thief Ghost Hand. Suddenly, Yang Sanmu's body shook intensely. A look of shock was frozen on his face as his eyes almost popped out. He shouted, "My immortal Gu!" Fang Yuan successfully stole an immortal Gu. He threw it into his immortal aperture without looking. Yang Sanmu spat out a mouthful of blood. He was immediately in bad shape after suffering heavy injuries. It turned out that Fang Yuan stole the core of his movement killer move. With the loss of the immortal Gu, the killer move failed, and he suffered a backlash. the battle quickly went sour for him. It seems my luck is much better than yours. I could not steal Feng Jiuji's core immortal Gu, but you? Fang Yuan snickered. Feng Jiu Gu? Who exactly are you? Great thief, ghost hand. Fang Yuan succeeded again. Guh. Yang Sanmu spat out blood again. His killer move's activation failed. With this second backlash, he lost his life. Great thief ghost hand could actually kill people. He actually died? Fang Yuan saw this result and was slightly stunned. It seems this Yang Sanmu is really unlucky. He got the core immortal Gu of his killer move stolen by me twice in a row. Fang Yuan had a plain expression as he shook his head. This effect was from their difference in luck. Earlier, he could not subdue Feng Jiu Gu because he was a Dao guardian with similar luck as Fang Yuan. But Yang Sanmu was a normal person, thus he died from Great Thief Ghost Hand. Fang Yuan suddenly realized that Luck Path and Theft Path were very powerful when combined together. Even though his Luck Path True Inheritance was not complete, and his Theft Path True Inheritance was also incomplete, these inheritances originated from two venerables. It was a rare case in history to have inherited true inheritances of two venerables at once. Inside the Immortal Gu formation, the southern border Righteous Path Gu Immortals saw that Yang Sanmu was trapped in the immortal battlefield. They became quite nervous. Chi Chiu urged Xia Fan. Quick, 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 haven't you deduced this immortal battlefield yet? Xia Fan was deep in thought, seemingly not listening to anything. The other Gu Immortals were discussing with uncertainty. What immortal battlefield did he use? It was set up so quickly. This is simply unprecedented. No wonder he has the guts to provoke us alone. He has quite the incredible move. It will all depend on Lord Xia Fan now. Xia Fan heard their chatter. He rolled his eyes and thought to himself. These people know nothing about Wisdom Path. Do they really think immortal battlefields are so easy to unravel and break? Xia Fan could feel the difficulty. He thought to himself, "Oh Yang Sanmu, I hope that you can last some time." But as time passed, his pressure intensified. There was only one Wisdom Path Gu Immortal here. If he could not deduce it, no matter how many Southern Border Gu Immortals there were, they could not enter the immortal battlefield and help. If he failed, his personal reputation in terms of capability would suffer a hit. But that was nothing compared to the rumors that might spread, saying that he had the ability to do it, but refused, and watched Yang Sanmu die. His reputation would go down the drain if that happened. But how could Fang Yuan's Yama battlefield be so easily deduced and broken? Fairy Ziwei could do it because she was among the top 3 Wisdom Path great experts in the current world. But Xia Fan was not. I cannot deduce it. This killer move's foundation is too deep. It seems to have a terrifying origin. After deducing for a while, Xia Fan was already full of sweat. The Southern Border Gu Immortals were still talking among themselves. Xia Fan felt increasing annoyed. He opened his eyes and anger showed in them. Can you people shut up? The Immortals stopped talking. Chichio coughed. That's right. Be quiet. Let's not disturb Lord Xia Fan. I believe he will not disappoint us with his abilities. Saying this, Xia Fan was forced into a corner. Xia Fan looked at Chichio with a dark gaze while the latter had a supportive look. Xia Fan gritted his teeth in anger. But he was a Wisdom Path Gu Immortal after all. With a shift of his thoughts, he smiled. Everyone, calm down. You must have forgotten that Yang Sanmu is most skilled in investigative methods. He went out to fight because he is very confident. He must have detected some information or truths that we do not know. Xia Fan and Yang Sanmu were not on good terms. They hated each other. But now, Xia Fan praised Yang Sanmu and placed him on a high pedestal. Everyone was stunned before realizing. If it was like what Xia Fan said, Yang Sanmu's actions were simply too much. He had left them aside and went out to take all the credit for himself. Right now, Southern Border's earth veins were moving and immortal materials, as well as immortal Gu were appearing everywhere. Who would want to guard this place? Who would not want to go out and seek fortune? If Yang Sanmu gained credit here, he would be redeployed and leave this place. Not only Yang Sanmu, everyone else here desired to leave. Soon, the immortals started to change their words. They started to agree with Xia Fan. Lord Xia Fan is right. Lord Yang Sanmu's investigative methods are renowned in Southern Border. Who does not know that? That's right. That's right. I remember the time when he investigated the turbulence in Black Heaven clearly. After reporting to Yang Clan, they moved out in advance and actually arrived at the accurate spot for the meteor rain. It is said that Yang Clan obtained 3 hills worth of Star Path immortal materials from that. Lord Yang Sanmu had even chased after the demonic Path Gu immortal Nian Wanghuai before. That guy was so vile and devious, staying hidden for a long time and evading Tai Clan's capture multiple times, but he eventually ended up in Lord Yang Sanmu's hands. In my opinion, Lord Yang Sanmu must be very confident this time. We must trust his judgment. We cannot fluster. I also need to remind everyone, after Lord Yang Sanmu wins this time, We need to place him in the sub-formation and inspect him carefully. Remember the matter about Fang Yuan not too long ago. Fang Yuan had used familiar face to disguise as Wu Yihai and was in the righteous path for a long time. He toyed around with the Southern Border Righteous Path Gu Immortals during the Dream Realm battle. The moment Southern Border's Gu Immortals heard this name, they became extremely angry. Fang Yuan is a demonic path scoundrel who infiltrated the righteous path. One day, he will be punished. Demonic will never defeat righteousness. This is the rule of this world. The demon might be arrogant for now, but he will face retribution one day. Even spectral soul demon Venerable got his soul captured after death by heavenly court, didn't he? I want to kill this demon personally. Sigh. It is a pity I could not join that fight. Chi Chio did not speak. He looked at Xia Fan with a deep gaze. Xia Fan shut his eyes as he started deducing again. Chi Chio sighed internally. As expected of a wisdom path, Gu Immortal. He had said that earlier to trap Xia Fan, but Xia Fan actually reversed the situation easily with a few words. Xia Fan hinted that Yang San Mu was greedy for credit and did not want to share it with the rest. All of the Gu Immortals here were savvy people. They soon understood what Xia Fan was trying to say. He meant, if that was not the case, and Yang San Mu was instead stupid and entered the enemy's trap, what would they do? If he died inside the formation, everyone would be implicated. They would be labeled as being vicious people who watched their comrade die in battle while they cowardly hid inside the formation, right? Thus, these immortals had to praise Yang San Mu to the sky. Xia Fan used their mentality to easily get past Chi Chio's attack. But Xia Fan's mood was bad now. This immortal battlefield cannot be unraveled by me alone. Damn it. We need to seek help. But before that, I need to make some credit. I cannot be so useless. At this time, Yama battlefield disappeared as Fang Yuan reappeared. Yang San Mu had vanished from sight. This. What happened? The Southern Border Immortals drew in a sharp breath. The rank 7 Xia Fan and Chi Chio had changes in expressions. The situation was clear. Only the enemy was left now. Yang San Mu was likely to be gone. But why was it so quick? Yang San Mu was a skillful person at the very least. He had ample battle strength. How could he die so easily? The enemy's immortal battlefield had a dense soul path aura, without any time path aura. There was no time difference inside it. Thus, the biggest possibility was that this mysterious demonic path rank 7 Gu Immortals battle strength dominated Yang San Mu. But was that possible? Or rather, he must have used some peculiar and uncommon method, right? The Southern Border Immortals were shocked and found this unbelievable. Fang Yuan looked at the formation as his gaze flickered in cold light. Originally, he wanted to disguise as Yang San Mu and dispel Yama battlefield, getting into the formation by disguise. But after soul-searching him, he found out Southern Border's arrangements and gave up on that plan. Southern Border's righteous path had deep foundations. Looking down on them would be stupid. Familiar face was already exposed. It was impossible to replicate Wu Yihai's success again. Even though this killer move came from thieving heaven demon Venerable, in the world of Gu cultivation, there had never been invincible killer moves. After such a long time, the era had advanced greatly. Of course, Southern Border's righteous path might not be able to easily produce immortal Gu or killer moves that could see through familiar face, but they had other methods to decipher the identity of Gu Immortals. Especially with Heavenly Court's guidance, Southern Border's righteous path had many ways of ascertaining identities. The process was strict and had many procedures. Especially when they had Soul Lantern Gu and other identity-type Gu. It was hard for Fang Yuan to disguise himself even with familiar face. Demonic scoundrel, what did you do to Lord Yang San Mu? Quickly release Lord Yang San Mu. Lord Yang San Mu might have already escaped that immortal battlefield using some method that he had. The Southern Border Gu Immortals spoke. Some were still carrying illusions in their minds. Fang Yuan's expression turned increasingly cold. This immortal formation was set by Chi Chuyu personally. If I try to deduce it step by step, there will not be enough time. I can only force my way through now. Let's see how tough this formation is. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan dispelled Emperor Yama, used Ancient Sword Dragon Transformation, and activated Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Next, he used Immortal Killer Move Myriad Dragon, causing a sea of ferocious dragons to charge at the formation. This killer move was currently Fang Yuan's trademark. Upon seeing this, if any Southern Border Righteous Path Gu Immortal could not tell it was Fang Yuan, they were just purposely acting unaware. This person is Fang Yuan. Oh heavens, that demon is here. He is here again. He is simply too daring. He is acting so freely. He is truly looking down on the righteous path of Southern Border. The Gu Immortals screamed one after another, unable to conceal the shock on their faces. Other than shock, there was also fear that they tried hard to hide. Chapter 1589. Attacking forcefully. Fang Yuan had to conceal and hide himself in the past, but now against the immortals of Southern Border's righteous path, he did not need to anymore. Fang Yuan's appearance was very shocking to the Southern Border righteous path, Gu immortals now. In the past, Fang Yuan disguised as Wu Yihai and obtained great benefits in the Battle of the Dream Realm, becoming the leader of Shadow Sect. Eventually, he was chased down by Southern Border's righteous path, but he was able to escape. Heavenly Court's pursuit could not do anything to Fang Yuan. Months ago, Fang Yuan suddenly appeared in Southern Border and killed 2 Gu immortals from Ho clan and Shang clan. If not for Paradise Earth's inheritor, even Tai Mian Shun would have died. Afterwards, Heavenly Court sent out the rank 8 Gu immortal expert Thunder Ghost True Monarch. The process of the battle was unknown, but Fang Yuan managed to take away 3 of her rib bones. The scene of her getting beaten up was displayed in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Instantly, the world was shaken. Fang Yuan's reputation completely suppressed Feng Gu as the #1 rank 7 expert. Most Gu immortals realized that even though Fang Yuan only had rank 7 cultivation level, he was a unique individual on par with and should be treated as a rank 8 Gu immortal. Furthermore, Fang Yuan was an otherworldly demon who was reborn using Spring Autumn Cicada. He was vicious and devious. Many people despised his non-existent bottom line. Even as a Gu immortal, he attacked mortals. And now, Fang Yuan was the most dazzling and rapidly rising demonic path overlord. Such a person had shown up. Southern Border's righteous path immortals were naturally surprised, shocked, and panicking. Lord Yongsan Mu had sacrificed himself heroically. Our Southern Border's righteous path and this vicious Fang Yuan have yet another debt of hatred. One day, we will make him pay the price. Xia Fan patted his chest as he said in sadness. The immortals were silent. Nobody held any illusions anymore. Fang Yuan's appearance made them feel intense lingering fear and also a sense of pity for Yongsan Mu. Why was he so unlucky as to face the great demon Fang Yuan? He could have stayed in the formation, but he chose to go out. Wasn't he courting death? But silence did not last long. Someone shouted immediately. This Fang Yuan is as vicious as ever. He lured Lord Yongsan Mu out. Thankfully, we were led by Lord Xia Fan and Qi Qiu. Under their leadership, we managed to hold our ground and did not give this scoundrel a chance to sneak in. The immortals all had varying expressions. Someone wanted to speak when suddenly, the world shook. The entire immortal formation started trembling intensely. Outside the immortal formation, countless silver scales filled the sky. Myriad dragons flew and charged at the white formation. The Southern Border immortals' expressions also turned pale from the reflection of the silver scales' light. Fang Yuan's immortal killer move Myriad Dragon was like a tsunami. Even though they were protected by the immortal formation, they felt extremely small and weak. Fang Yuan's Myriad Dragon did not get much more powerful than before, but with Myriad Self-Immortal Gu, it was far easier to use Myriad Dragon now. When activating it, the steps were fewer and the success rate was higher. The time it took Fang Yuan to use Myriad Dragon once or twice before was enough to unleash it 5 to 6 times now. Fang Yuan continued to use Myriad Dragon. Countless ancient sword dragons charged at the formation, causing the formation to explode with greater force. Pure white light ripples spread like waves or the contours of mountains, blocking the attack of the Myriad Dragons. Interesting. Fang Yuan observed carefully. Even though the immortal formation was shaking, its roots were not shaken. As he increased the power of his attacks, so did the defensive power of the immortal formation. We have the Gu formation, we should last for some time. A Southern Border Gu immortal said in uncertainty as he looked at Qi Qiu. Qi Qiu's gaze was flickering intensely. Currently, the immortal formation was keeping them safe, but the other party was not ordinary. He was Fang Yuan, the demonic path overlord that Heavenly Court could not deal with even after pursuing him for so long. Everyone, seek help from your clans. Tell them Fang Yuan is here, quick. Do you think this formation can block such a person? Qi Qiu sighed. The immortals saw that Qi Qiu was very anxious. They did not wait, but started to seek reinforcements. Earlier, Fang Yuan did not state his identity. He was just a rank 7 Gu immortal. How could the Southern Border Gu immortals ask for help? They only reported this battle normally. But now that Fang Yuan exposed his identity, these Gu immortals started to ask for help openly and loudly. Roar. The dragons roared as Fang Yuan attacked. The immortal formation blocked him with all its strength. It was also increasing in power. Block him. Even if we die, we must block him. The western part of the formation is broken. Quickly repair it. I don't have enough immortal essence. Who will replace me? The Southern Border immortals blocked him desperately. Due to the strong pressure from Fang Yuan, these immortals stopped scheming against each other. They were truly united. Qi Qiu tried to fix the Gu formation while Xia Fan spat out blood multiple times. In order to try and deduce the flaws of Myriad Dragon, he had given it his all. They were rank 7 Gu immortals, but they were like this. the rank 6 Gu immortals were in far worse conditions. Outside the immortal formation, Fang Yuan crossed his arms as he watched quietly. He was calm as a breeze. After having Myriad Self-Immortal Gu, the killer move Myriad Dragon was much more usable. It was no longer his strongest method. It was a killer move that could be used conventionally and regularly. Fang Yuan's strongest method was now an immemorial Yama Child's Soul Explosion. But he did not have any immemorial soul beasts to modify now. He had already used both immemorial Yama children, one to kill Feng Gu and the other to kill Langya Land Spirit, but neither succeeded. As for an ancient Yama Child Soul Explosion, it was similar in power to Myriad Dragon, but it was amplified by Yama Battlefield and would be slightly stronger. Thus, Fang Yuan used this method to attack the immortal formation. Intense winds blew. Fang Yuan floated in the air, looking at the dragons attacking this formation. His demonic might was already developed. Right now, he single-handedly suppressed Southern Border's Gu immortals. They were busy defending against his barrage of attacks. However, Fang Yuan frowned lightly. It was taking quite a while. Fang Yuan needed some more time to break this immortal formation. Fang Yuan still had 3 methods left, but Reverse Flow Protection Seal could not be used against the immortal formation. This formation got stronger as the attacks targeted at it got stronger. Reverse Flow Protection Seal could not reflect anything. Lead Soul into Dream had failed against Heavenly Court once before. Measures had been taken against it when they fought Lord Huang Shi. Lead Soul into Dream needed to sense the target's soul, but these Southern Border Gu immortals were hidden in the formation. Fang Yuan could not sense them. As for Great Thief Ghost Hand, it could not be used. The immortal formation was hidden behind the white light in multiple layers. Great Thief Ghost Hand was unable to get close. Lord Chi Chuyu. At this time, inside the immortal formation, Southern Border's immortals received a surge of morale. The reason was simple. Chi Clan's first Supreme Elder, rank 8 formation path Gu immortal Chi Chuyu, had arrived in secret. To think that this immortal formation had this hidden pathway in it, allowing a rank 8 existence tens of thousands of li away to teleport here. The clan truly put in a lot of effort into this. Chi Chuyu praised. In his mind, this hidden pathway was left by Chi Chuyu just in case a situation like the Dream Realm battle occurred again. In that situation, Chi Clan, which had access to the hidden pathway, would have a huge advantage. And now, Fang Yuan suddenly attacked. Chi Chuyu thought about it and decided to expose this hidden trump card. Continue controlling the immortal formation. Act like you cannot last long. I will make an arrangement to lure this demon into my trap. Chi Chuyu smiled. Fang Yuan had lots of treasures on him and was a demonic path overlord. Heavenly Court had a huge headache against him. If Chi Chuyu could use Formation Path to capture Fang Yuan or kill him, not only could he gain a lot of loot, he could also raise his reputation to the limit. He could also use this matter to raise Chi Clan's ranking in the Southern Border Righteous Path by several levels. Even though Fang Yuan had great achievements, Chi Chuyu was a Formation Path Great Grandmaster and had rank 8 cultivation level. He was extremely confident in his Formation Path attainment. After learning about this, he came here to take Fang Yuan's life. Any other rank 8 Gu immortal who did not cultivate Formation Path would not have Chi Chuyu's advantage and ease. With Chi Chuyu as the mastermind, Southern Border's immortals had a huge surge of confidence. They started to contest with Fang Yuan patiently. Chi Chuyu had Formation Path Immortal Gu. His methods were very quickly set up. He soon created a formation inside the immortal formation. This was Chi Chuyu's expertise to begin with. But when he was about to succeed, Fang Yuan suddenly stopped and left the battlefield using fixed immortal travel. Did he sense me? Chi Chuyu frowned, but he thought about how he vigilantly created the Gu formation. He did not expose anything. The chance of that was low, so why did Fang Yuan retreat? This is Contact Heart River Bank. Jade light flickered as Fang Yuan appeared in the sky. He looked down. The surrounding hundreds of li were covered in mountains. Only the land below him was flat with fog in it. It could not be seen clearly. Fang Yuan breathed in deeply, using Myriad Dragon killer move again. Myriad Dragons attacked as the fog rose, clashing with each other. But soon, the fog could not stand up to Fang Yuan's attacks and faded, exposing the true terrain. A shallow deep blue lake surrounded by silent, verdant mountains. Around the lake were pure white round rocks. They stacked at the river bank. On the river bank, there were a large number of Wisdom Path Contact Heart Gu. There was also the obvious aura left behind by some Chi Clan rank 6 Gu immortal. Fang Yuan did not chase them. He looked at Contact Heart River Bank and grabbed, starting his plunder. Information that Contact Heart River Bank had been robbed soon got to Chi Chuyu. This was Chi Clan's resource point. Even though there was a Gu formation, the defense was not as strong. Fang Yuan easily took it over. Chapter 1590, Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range, come. Fang Yuan floated in the air as he opened his Immortal Aperture's entrance. A large number of wild contact heart Gu were drawn by a gentle force, gathering in the air like a beautiful colored cloud, entering Fang Yuan's immortal aperture. The process lasted for several minutes. Fang Yuan estimated, more than 3,000 are rank 5 contact heart Gu, 50,000 are rank 4, and over 1,000,000 are rank 3 and below. Contact heart Gu resembled colored Yuhua stones. They had different colors and shapes according to their rank. It was a wisdom path Gu worm that could steal the opponent's concentration and make them enter a daze, losing the ability to perceive and think. If combined with other relevant Gu worms, it could form killer moves. Contact heart Gu had a lot of value in combat. The most usual method was to supplement it with enslavement path methods to enhance the enslavement ability. Of course, wisdom path Gu masters used it too, but wisdom path was a rare and mysterious path. Gu masters faced difficulty in raising Gu. Most of them had less than 10 Gu at once. But for Gu immortals, they could get tens of thousands of mortal Gu easily. Only immortal Gu were hard to get. Fang Yuan's situation was simply a rare exception. Contact Heart Riverbank is a mid-sized resource point. I attacked and destroyed the Gu formation here, while the defending Gu immortal escaped for their life without destroying the Contact Heart Gu. This was why I could obtain this wealth. If the defending Gu immortal took away or destroyed the Contact Heart Gu before leaving, Fang Yuan's gains would be greatly reduced. That Gu immortal must have exerted all their effort to block Fang Yuan. They could not distract themselves by storing the Contact Heart Gu. When they left, they either had no method or lacked the resolve to destroy this place. After storing the Contact Heart Gu, Fang Yuan's gaze returned to the river bank. Rank 6 Strength Path Immortal Gu, pulling water. He activated this immortal Gu. The river water was pulled up like silk by a formless force before being moved into Fang Yuan's immortal aperture. This Contact Heart Riverbank was a special area filled with Wisdom Path Dao marks. There were Earth Path, Water Path, Wood Path, and other Dao marks as foundation, but they paled in quantity compared to Wisdom Path. Fang Yuan took away the water, but the dense Wisdom Path Dao marks still remained here. It is a pity that most of the Wisdom Path Dao marks are on this land. Fang Yuan sighed to himself. There was no helping it. Even though he had Pulling Mountain Immortal Gu, it was targeted at mountains, not land. I'll bring the rocks with me. Contact Heart Riverbank's rocks were filled with Wisdom Path Dao marks too. They were excellent materials. Fang Yuan brought them along. He took everything that he could take. A moment later, he used rank 7 fixed immortal travel to leave this place, leaving behind a ransacked resource point. Fang Yuan was currently being pursued. He could not stay at a place for long. Otherwise, his enemies would be able to encircle and plot against him. Thus, when he attacked Plunder Shadow Earth Trench earlier and was blocked by the formation, he retreated wisely. It was not because he found out about Chi Chu Yu's scheme. Fang Yuan focused his mind as he used fixed immortal travel, crossing an enormous distance, arriving above a mountain. This mountain range was majestic and huge with curved contours. There were no trees on it, only bamboos. These bamboos were very thick, and each were the size of giant trees. The leaves of the bamboo were triangular with a long base and sharp tip. The tips were thin and sharp but tough. Many mortals would pluck these leaves and tie them to wooden rods to create wooden spears. This was also why this bamboo was called spear-tip bamboo. The spear-tip bamboo forest was huge and covered the entire mountain range. There were many life forms living in the bamboo forest. It was filled with vitality. Most had cloud path Dao marks. The highest quantity group was the cloud fox. This fox had snow-white skin and could float in the air temporarily. Right now, Fang Yuan could see a group of cloud foxes floating around in the bamboo forest, playing with each other happily. It was a serene sight. Fang Yuan's eyes shone. This is Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range, a large resource point under Qi Clan's control. The super forces of the 5 regions controlled resource points, classified into 5 groups: mini, small, middle, large, and giant. Fang Yuan's Dragonfish Sea area and Sovereign Immortal Aperture was a giant resource point. It could produce copper, iron, silver, and gold dragonfish. It was Fang Yuan's most important source of revenue now. Oh no, the demon Fang Yuan is here. Plunder Shadow Earth Trench was attacked. Contact Heart Riverbank was taken by him. To think that he would come to Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range at this crucial moment. The 2 Qi Clan rank 6 Gu immortals defending the place saw Fang Yuan and were flustered. Fang Yuan used fixed immortal travel to arrive here. There was a huge disturbance as Fang Yuan did not conceal himself. Qi Clan's 2 Gu immortals immediately noticed it. The 2 Gu immortals were currently deep within the mountain range. There was a huge spear-tip bamboo in front of them. It was over 20 meters tall. The bamboo was so large that even 10 grown men could not surround it with their arms. And inside this giant bamboo, an immortal Gu was being nurtured. Indeed, a wild immortal Gu was about to form here. Qi Clan's two Gu Immortals were putting their focus here while defending Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. Immortal Gu were unique. This wood path Immortal Gu that was about to form was the most important thing in Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. Boom, boom, boom. Fang Yuan waved his sleeves, sending out sparks and smoke. The two Qi Clan Gu Immortals sighed together, activating the Gu formation to block Fang Yuan's attacks. Qi Clan was most skilled at formation path, while Qi Chu Yu was a formation path great Grandmaster who could use natural Dao marks and mortal Gu to create immortal formations. Thus, Qi Clan's resource points all had immortal formations, and these resource points had something in similar. They were all dense with Dao marks. As Fang Yuan attacked, jade green light appeared on Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range that blocked Fang Yuan's attacks. Countless spear-tip bamboos started shaking as leaves shot out with intense winds. It was like a tornado of countless spears that shot at Fang Yuan with great intensity. This immortal formation is not only larger than the one at Contact Heart River Bank, it can even retaliate. Fang Yuan smiled, using reverse flow protection seal. The bamboo leaves landed on his body and were all sent back to attack the immortal formation without question. This is reverse flow protection seal. Quick, quick, stop the retaliation method. The two rank 6 Gu Immortals panicked before encouraging each other. The Immortal Gu is about to form. It is a few minutes away from completion. We need to wait for the clan's reinforcements. The immortal formation was manipulated by them and stopped attacking. It focused on defense. Fang Yuan could not reverse its attacks anymore, but he smiled nonchalantly, dispelling reverse flow protection seal. He activated Myriad Dragon Killer move again, sending a barrage of attacks at the immortal formation. The immortal formation shook intensely. The two rank 6 Gu Immortals were sweating profusely, gritting their teeth as they spat out blood, defending themselves desperately. After a while, Fang Yuan's eyes shone with brilliance as he found a flaw of this formation. Fang Yuan's formation path attainment level was at Grandmaster after all. He noticed this flaw and started attacking it. After a while, Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range's immortal formation exploded intensely as a portion of the green light covering the mountain range dissipated suddenly. Oh no, he destroyed a portion of the immortal formation. Hang on, reinforcements are coming. The two Qi Clan rank 6s were greatly shocked. Fang Yuan sent out attacks again, creating explosions on the defenseless Cloud Bamboo Mountains. Yama Child Soul Explosion. He found that Soul Explosion was more suited for destroying the immortal formation. He used it without hesitation. The start was the most difficult. After creating a hole in the Cloud Bamboo immortal formation, the difficulty reduced drastically. Fang Yuan made good use of the weakness. The two Qi Clan Gu Immortals' dreams did not come true. Fang Yuan's dismantling speed became faster and faster. He destroyed more and more of the formation until he reached the Qi Clan Gu Immortals. It's too late, let's retreat. What about the Immortal Gu? We are only a few minutes away from its creation. Leave, we will lose our lives if we stay. The other Gu Immortal jolted into realization as he wiped his sweat. You're right, we'll leave. What about the Immortal Gu? The Gu Immortal companion struggled for a moment before gritting his teeth. Destroy it. Chapter 1591, Plunder and Development Boom. Fang Yuan waved his sleeves. Black smoke spread out to the surroundings. He had used Soul Explosion. This was a rank 7 peak method. It immediately destroyed the core of the immortal formation on Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range that Qi Clan had created with ease. Rumble. There was another explosion as the formation's core broke apart. The other areas of the immortal formation also collapsed. At this point, the entire mountain range's formation was destroyed. They left after all. Looking at the empty place, Fang Yuan's gaze was dark and unsurprised at all. His attack on the formation earlier was met with great resistance that was quite skillful. But later on, Fang Yuan noticed that the immortal formation was getting more slow in reacting to his actions. Immortal formations and immortal Gu houses needed people to manipulate them. Even wills or formation spirits left behind could not replace the use of a Gu Immortal. Oh, an immortal Gu was destroyed here. Fang Yuan soon noticed a special aura. He confirmed quickly that there was an incomplete immortal Gu here. Qi Clan's Gu Immortals had destroyed it before leaving. Fang Yuan sighed in pity, but he admired their resolution. He would have done the same thing. There was nothing valuable at the core area. Fang Yuan flew into the sky and started to ransack Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range had a large number of cloud path life forms. Like the cloud fox, Fang Yuan used an enslavement path method as orange-yellow light burst out of his bodice, shrouding all the surroundings. Within the light, cloud foxes and other life forms struggled intensely. They had a painful expression as they growled. But soon, their resistance weakened as they stopped moving. They stayed on the spot as they became Fang Yuan's enslaved beasts. Fang Yuan opened his immortal aperture door as these life forms gathered, and went into sovereign immortal aperture like a flowing river. Fang Yuan continued his actions as a large number of life forms entered his immortal aperture. Suddenly, there was a sudden sound as two desolate beast cloud foxes emerged, running towards the outside of the mountain in a panic. "Come back," Fang Yuan laughed, flying as he chased them, using his enslavement path killer move to make these two desolate beast cloud foxes sprawl and admit him as their master. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was a huge, large-sized resource point. It was filled with dense Dao marks. It was normal for desolate beasts and plants to grow here. Even ancient desolate beasts could grow. Immortal Gu were rarer. There was one, but it was destroyed before it could form. After Fang Yuan finished his exploration, he obtained 7 desolate beast cloud foxes, a total of 11 desolate plants of 3 species: cloud chi root, white hair root, and spear-tip bamboo. The thing that made Fang Yuan the happiest was the quantity of a rank 7 immortal material, cloud soil. It was huge. However, he did not see any ancient desolate beasts or ancient desolate plants. The Gu immortals guarding this place must have brought them away, or maybe they never existed. According to the laws of nature, there was a possibility of ancient desolate beasts or plants appearing here. But this place was governed by Qi clan for countless years. They were skilled at formation path, but lacked enslavement path expertise. They would not allow an uncontrollable ancient desolate beast that could rival ranked 7 Gu immortals to stay in their territory. Fang Yuan did not mind it. He continued to search the entire mountain for spear-tip bamboos. These spear-tip bamboos were ordinary Gu materials. The desolate plant spear-tip bamboos had already been completely taken by Fang Yuan. But it was quite troublesome now. Fang Yuan had rich enslavement path methods, but he could not use many wood path methods due to his lack of wood path immortal Gu. "I need an appropriate wood path method to relocate these spear-tip bamboos," Fang Yuan sighed. If he wanted to move these spear-tip bamboos, he would need delicate wood path methods. Methods of other paths would carve different Dao marks on these bamboos. Even temporary ones would damage the spear-tip bamboos and reduce their quality. Actually, Spectral Soul's true inheritance had lots of wood path methods, but Fang Yuan did not have the necessary wood path immortal Gu. Thus, he could only use mortal methods to take these spear-tip bamboos. But this lowered his efficiency greatly, far worse than immortal killer moves. And this Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was huge. The amount of spear-tip bamboos that Fang Yuan had taken were still very insignificant. A pity that pulling mountain immortal Gu is only rank 6. Even though it can pull mountains, it cannot move the entire mountain range. In the past, Fang Yuan had pulled up Dang Hun Mountain and Luopa Valley, but it was because these two secluded domains of heaven and earth was modified by Spectral Soul Demon Venerable using the killer move orderly well. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range did not have such a treatment. Of course, Fang Yuan could smash the mountain range, but the results from that would not be under his control. Trees had tree roots, mountains had mountain roots. Unless he had an appropriate earth path method, he could not preserve these mountain roots. What? Fang Yuan is attacking Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. Qi Chuyu's frowned deeply. He had a grim expression. He was the first supreme elder of Qi clan. Information had gotten to him at the very first moment. The Contact Heart Riverbank earlier was a middle-sized resource point. The losses were not too big. But Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was a large resource point. In the past, our clan paid a hefty price to invite an Earth Path great expert to move the mountain veins and develop Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range, only forming scales similar to today after 100 years. To think that it would be targeted now. Qi clan was a super force. It had many large resource points, but Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was quite a unique one. Back when Qi clan was still in its infancy period, Qi clan's ancestors had scrimped and saved when they were weak to slowly develop it. In Qi clan's history, this Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range provided Qi clan a steady source of income over time and did not disappoint its initial creators. After generations of hard work, the clan got stronger and its territory expanded continuously. Even though they had many large resource points now, and Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range became less important, it was never neglected. It was always guarded by 2 Gu immortals. Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range was not just a resource point. It was a form of mental encouragement to Qi clan's members. Forget about other large resource points, but Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range cannot be destroyed. Mobilize the Immortal Gu House, find Fang Yuan, and take back Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. Qi Chuyu thought about it for a moment before ordering with a firm tone. What about you, First Supreme Elder? Qi clan's Gu Immortal asked. Qi Chuyu snorted. Fang Yuan seems to know that I am here. His true motive is to take the dream realms here. I will stay guard here. He will definitely come again. Of course, you all must put up a facade that I am going to find him personally. Thus, Qi clan moved its Immortal Gu House and went to Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. Fang Yuan had not left yet. He was still collecting spear-tip bamboos. This bamboo had very deep roots of 50 to 60 feet. Specific methods were needed to relocate them into his immortal aperture without any damage. Qi Clan's Gu immortals saw Fang Yuan and hesitated. This was Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range. If they fought against Fang Yuan here, without any immortal formation's protection, Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range might get destroyed. Immortal Killer Move, Great Thief Ghost Hand. Fang Yuan was already prepared. His Great Thief Ghost Hand had been lurking for a while. It directly targeted Qi Clan's Immortal Gu house. Inside, Sovereign Immortal Aperture. At the northmost end of many northern plains, snow was falling as frost energy permeated. The snowmen had traveled for a long time. They finally arrived at their destination. The cold weather made the snowmen reveal smiles of joy. This is a good place for us to live. This place is so huge, we will not have to crowd around like before. Thanks to great immortal Bing Zhua's guidance. Sob, sob, sob. Some elderly snowmen were already kneeling on the ground, sobbing profusely. Quickly look, someone shouted. The snowmen raised their heads and saw a scene they would never forget. The huge blizzard suddenly stopped as three huge crystal mountains appeared from within the fog. Gu immortal Bing Zhua floated in the air as he nodded at them, before the fog gathered and concealed the three mountains again. It's great immortal Bing Zhua. This is the home that great immortal has guided us to, Triple Sacred Mountain. It seems that the immortals of our tribe live on Triple Sacred Mountain. The snowmen were very excited. They knelt down and prayed towards the direction of Triple Sacred Mountain. They did not know that great immortal Bing Zhua, concealed by the fog, turned back into a stranger. He was Fang Yuan's time path clone. Food, environment, and plants. They are all set up already. Even though the environment is plain, it is enough for them to live. At this point, the snowman relocation is finally completed. The time path clone nodded lightly as he controlled the snow crystal formation, looking at another area. Over there, a group of snow monsters emerged from the snow, looking around curiously as they moved around. Not bad. Under the effect of the snow crystal formation, snow monsters are forming too. This snow monster production line is starting to work. In time, it will bring me huge profits. After leaving many northern plains, the time path clone arrived at many central continent. Not long ago, he had set up a riverbank here. He directly copied the name of Contact Heart Riverbank. On the riverbank, there were countless white round rocks of varying sizes. There was a river with flowing water. Contact Heart Gu lived inside it. Fang Yuan obtained a large number of Contact Heart Gu. He sold most of them in Treasure Yellow Heaven. The remaining river water, rocks, and a small number of Contact Heart Gu were left as seeds. In time, he could develop this into a source of revenue too. The time path clone flew again, towards the southeast of Contact Heart Riverbank. He only stopped after a while. It was a barren land without any life forms. Time path clone started to plant spear-tip bamboos here while releasing the cloud foxes and other beasts. There was no mountain range here, but Fang Yuan planned to start building a cloud bamboo forest here. Chapter 1592, Number 9 in the World, Great Space Temple, Southern Border. Fang Yuan broke into Cloud Bamboo Mountain Range and scavenged it, but he knew about the significance of this resource point. He was ready for Qi Clan's counterattack. Immortal Killer Move, Great Thief Ghost Hand. His Great Thief Ghost Hand that had been lurking for a while directly targeted Qi Clan's Immortal Gu house. The Qi Clan Gu immortals in the Immortal Gu house were shocked. But immediately, the Immortal Gu house's surface shined with a dazzling golden light. The surface of the Immortal Gu house had ripples that formed into a spiral, absorbing Great Thief Ghost Hand into it. At the next moment, the spiral vanished without a trace. Fang Yuan grunted as he lost his connection to Great Thief Ghost Hand. Bright light shined in his eyes for a moment. As expected of one of the top 10 Immortal Gu houses, Great Space Temple. Qi Clan had 2 Immortal Gu houses. They were both extraordinary. Great Space Temple was the stronger one, able to resist rank 8 Gu immortals. From the outside, it looked like it was made of marble. It was pure white and round. There were golden accents on it. It radiated with sunlight and was extremely grand, giving people a feeling of warmth and hope. In the 500 years of Fang Yuan's previous life, during the 5 regions' chaotic war, all the different forces competed with each other as the world went into chaos. Immortal Gu houses were mobilized often and fought against each other. With ample battles, people started to learn of the strength of different Immortal Gu houses. They were able to create a ranking list for the Immortal Gu houses. Qi Clan's Great Space Temple was ranked 9th on this list. It was not simple. It had one move called Moving Space Domain. It could trap rank 8 Gu immortals. When Heavenly Court attacked Southern Border, this Immortal Gu house trapped 4 rank 7s and 2 rank 8s. It had an extremely incredible use in that battle. I'm afraid that Great Thief Ghost Hand is trapped inside Moving Space Domain. That's how I lost contact with it. But the usage of Moving Space Domain has a huge price. It needs time for preparation. How did they respond so quickly? They seemed very prepared. Fang Yuan's thoughts moved rapidly in his mind. He quickly saw a problem. There really was such a theft path method. Demon Fang Yuan is getting harder to deal with. Thankfully, we were amply prepared. We only made it in time due to Heavenly Court's intel. If he really succeeded in stealing the immortal Gu of this immortal Gu house, what would happen? Qi Clan's Gu immortals felt deep after fear and relief. Kill. Prepare moving space domain for Demon Fang Yuan's theft path method. But we need to be careful. This Demon Fang Yuan has a defensive killer move made using reverse flow river. Rumble. Under the Qi Clan Gu immortals manipulation, rank 8 immortal Gu house great space temple erupted with fearsome might, quickly suppressing Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan retreated while his mind entered treasure yellow heaven. At the next moment, his heart shook. Like he had expected, Heavenly Court had placed a clip in treasure yellow heaven, showing the fight scene earlier. His usage of Great Thief Ghost Hand against Feng Gu was also exposed. Not just that, Heavenly Court also released a lot of deduction results that were free for everyone to view. These deductions were all about Fang Yuan. They were exposing his secrets. In treasure yellow heaven, there were lots of commotion. The Gu immortals in the 5 regions were very shocked. They were discussing his methods and Gu worms. They felt deep envy and jealousy towards Fang Yuan's resources. This was a huge blow. Intel of Gu immortals was usually very crucial. In most cases, once immortal Gu and killer moves were exposed, they would be easily countered by others. Like now, not only did Qi Clan defend against Great Thief Ghost Hand, they even trapped it inside moving space domain. They were going to research on this Great Thief Ghost Hand and trace it back to the source, exposing more weaknesses of this move. If they were not guarded and Fang Yuan succeeded, he might be able to steal a few immortal Gu and earn a fortune, and even gain an advantage. Fang Yuan had used Treasure Yellow Heaven to show himself thrashing Thunder Ghost True Monarch, and it deeply affected Heavenly Court's prestige. They were merely giving him a taste of his own medicine now, dealing with Fang Yuan using the same method. I have Great Thief Ghost Hand. Fairy Ziwei must be very worried that I would use this move to steal more immortal Gu and strengthen myself. Since she could distract herself to do this, I'm afraid Langya Blessed Land's battle has ended. Fang Yuan's heart shook. He wanted Heavenly Court and Longevity Heaven to fight to the death. It was best if Langya Blessed Land got destroyed. But both sides were very smart. They would not do something so stupid. I'm afraid that Heavenly Court took the initiative to retreat. After all, in order to deal with Langya Blessed Land, Fairy Ziwei, Chen Yi, and the rest were all injured to some degree. Feng Gu had lost his battle strength after fighting me. Thunder Ghost True Monarch died from battle. While Longevity Heaven has Langya Land Spirit's help, they have the absolute advantage. Another thing Fang Yuan noticed was that Prince Feng Xian's traitor identity was not exposed yet. Prince Feng Xian might possibly be hiding near Loosetail Ridge, waiting for a chance. It seems that Heavenly Court is very prepared. Even without Prince Feng Xian, they managed to escape. Fang Yuan was not foolish enough to expose Prince Feng Xian's identity in advance. Heavenly Court knew that Fang Yuan was an otherworldly demon that had reborn, but they did not know that Prince Feng Xian's identity was already known to Fang Yuan. Right now, I have no evidence to testify against Prince Feng Xian. Actually, even if I have solid evidence, Prince Feng Xian is still a rank 8 Gu immortal. Longevity Heaven will have a tough time dealing with him. If they do not prepare amply, he might even escape. Fang Yuan had to make good use of this. He might be able to reap great benefits in the future. Using it now would just be venting his anger. A successful person would have deep tolerance. How could he be swayed by emotions and act foolishly? However, I cannot let all of you off either. Fang Yuan sneered. He immediately sent a video clip into Treasure Yellow Heaven. This video recorded Heavenly Court using Starcast and sending multiple rank 8 Gu immortals into Langya Blessed Land. It was like a huge rock tossed into a lake. It created huge ripples and waves. Heavenly Court had such a method. It was like Fang Yuan's fixed immortal travel. The incredibly useful effect could influence important battles. Other than Central Continent, the Gu immortals of the other 4 regions and leaders of super forces felt greatly shocked. Their alertness towards Heavenly Court rose to an incredible degree. Goodbye. Fang Yuan smiled as he waved at Great Space Temple. At the next moment, he used the opportunity to activate fixed immortal travel, escaping successfully. Rank 7 fixed immortal travel was too useful. Great Space Temple was not an immortal battlefield. Even if it contained an immortal battlefield killer move, Fang Yuan would not let himself be trapped easily. Even if he was trapped, many immortal battlefields could not contain fixed immortal travel. Unless it was an incredible method or countered fixed immortal travel, Fang Yuan then would be in trouble when he gets trapped. At the next moment, Jade Light flickered as Fang Yuan arrived at Qi Clan's 3rd resource point. Wind Flame Mountain. This mountain had countless sunset parasol trees. The leaves were red like fire. There were many birds and barely any land beasts. A small number of fire phoenixes were resting inside the parasol forest. Sensing Fang Yuan's animosity, these phoenixes raised their heads and looked at Fang Yuan fearlessly. They had an aura of indomitability. This giant resource point was rare even for super forces. It was one of Qi Clan's most important sources of revenue. Demon Fang Yuan is here. A rank 7 from Qi Clan was here. They first activated the defensive immortal formation before reporting to the clan, seeking reinforcements. If I can take down this resource point, Qi Clan would really feel heartache. Hee. Fang Yuan laughed coldly as he charged down and crashed like a meteor. With an intense explosion, the immortal formation remained unmoved. Giant resource points had far greater defenses compared to middle and large resource points. Fang Yuan stopped his movement as his gaze flickered with uncertainty. He rapidly deduced in his mind, while using countless killer moves like they were cheap fireworks. Scoundrel Fang Yuan, you are so devious. After receiving news of this, Qi Chuyu was extremely furious. He could no longer stay. He left and went to reinforce the resource point. Windflame Mountain was quite a unique resource point. Other than raising phoenixes, at a certain timing each year, many wild phoenixes would come here and lay eggs. If something happened to Windflame Mountain, the wild phoenixes might choose other locations. Qi Clan would suffer great losses. But Windflame Mountain was very far from Cloud Bamboo Mountain range. Qi Chuyu was the closest to it. Even though this Qi Clan first Supreme Elder had already set up the formation in Plunder Shadow Earth Trench, he had to give up on that plan and save his resource point from Fang Yuan. When he arrived, Fang Yuan had already broken up more than half of the formation of Windflame Mountain. Many ancient phoenixes also died. Fang Yuan even captured 3. Fang Yuan, you scoundrel, don't run if you have the guts. Qi Chuyu screamed in anger. Fang Yuan smiled lightly as he greeted politely. Senior Qi Chuyu, we finally meet. You want to meet me so urgently. It seems you really want to die. Qi Chuyu snickered. First Supreme Elder is here. I'm saved. The Qi Clan Gu Immortal defending Windflame Mountain felt great ease as he shouted. I waited specially for you. Are you interested in the dream path results that I have? Fang Yuan suddenly transmitted in secret. Qi Chuyu was slightly dazed. At the next moment, Fang Yuan pointed with his finger as Immortal Battlefield Killer move Yama Battlefield formed and trapped Qi Chuyu in it. Qi Chuyu was slightly shocked, but he soon calmed down. He even looked around the battlefield calmly. This is the battlefield that trapped Feng Jiuge? Fang Yuan laughed loudly. Senior Qi wants to say, is this the immortal battlefield that Fairy Ziwei broke? Heavenly Court not only exposed Fang Yuan's great thief ghost hand in Treasure Yellow Heaven, they even released their understanding of Yama Battlefield and even the way to break it publicly. Thus, with this information, Qi Chuyu was not worried. He was not even anxious at all. As a formation path great grandmaster, he could defend himself inside Yama Battlefield. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan had limited time. If the righteous path Gu immortals could encircle him, he would be in trouble. There were no invincible Gu in this world, only invincible Gu immortals. Fixed immortal travel could be countered in many ways. Compared to that, Qi Chuyu's bigger headache was that after Fang Yuan leaves, he would continue targeting Qi Clan's resource points. That was a huge problem. Take a look, Senior Qi. Fang Yuan tossed an information path Mortal Gu over. Qi Chuyu took a look. It was truly an information path Mortal Gu. He looked into it, and his gaze flickered. This information path Mortal Gu recorded details about the formation that Qi Clan had set up on Windflame Mountain. As a formation path grandmaster who had the light of wisdom, it was not hard to make such deductions. Qi Chuyu instantly understood Fang Yuan's intention. According to the info in this information path Mortal Gu, Fang Yuan could totally destroy the immortal formation on Windflame Mountain. But he purposely chose not to and waited for Qi Chuyu's arrival. Qi Chuyu nodded. You are indeed a genius. Your formation path attainment is so high. No wonder Qi Shang acknowledged you. Formation devotee Qi Shang was a rising star of Qi Clan. He was recognized by Qi Chuyu as a future formation path great grandmaster. Earlier, Fang Yuan disguised as Wu Yihai and interacted with him. They built a good relationship. When Fang Yuan got exposed and was pursued by everyone, Qi Shang publicly announced that he was an enemy of Fang Yuan, putting a clear line between them. Fang Yuan laughed loudly before looking at Qi Chuyu solemnly. What if I told Senior that my formation path attainment level was obtained from the dream realm? What do you think? Oh, is that true? Qi Chuyu was moved. He assessed Fang Yuan again as he said with a questioning tone. You really want to transact with me? Fang Yuan retorted. Why not? I need dream realms. But Southern Border's dream realms have defensive formations made by Qi Clan. I want to use dream path gains to exchange for Qi Clan's cooperation. To display my sincerity, I want you to see this. Fang Yuan tossed out another information path Mortal Gu. Qi Chuyu received it, and his gaze flickered, he unconsciously grasped the information path Mortal Gu in his hand, as if afraid that it would fly off. Information regarding Dream Path had an incredible attraction to Qi Chu Yu. He quickly looked into it. When he raised his head, he looked at Fang Yuan with a different expression. As expected of the one who used Spring Autumn Cicada to rebirth and had inherited Shadow Sect, the amount of Dream Path information that he is willing to release already far exceeds the total amount of research our Southern Border's Righteous Path has done. Furthermore, this is only a small part of the information. A lot of things are missing. There is even some vague content not explained in detail. Thinking of this, Qi Chu Yu was deeply moved. He had to be moved. Fang Yuan's bait was simply too attractive to him. Currently, the Gu Immortal world agreed that Dream Path would be greatly developed in the future. Not only would Dream Path be created, it would prosper and create great Dream Immortal Venerable. Thus, be it super forces or rank 8 Gu Immortals, they knew the importance of Dream Path. They explored dream realms and tried to advance further in this path than anyone else. Whoever gave up on pursuing Dream Path would be left behind by this upcoming great era. It was like how Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable created Theft Path, Reckless Savage Demon Venerable created Transformation Path, Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable created Chi Path. In the long history of humanity, countless experiences had proven this point. However, the start was the most difficult. Dream Path was only a concept now. No matter who explored it, they would have to pay a huge price with little gains. Because he knew this, Qi Chu Yu understood that this information path Mortal Gu was extremely valuable. If it was revealed to the outside world, all the super forces would fight for it. Even if they had to fight until blood flowed into a river, they would do it without hesitation. Qi Chu Yu caressed the information path Mortal Gu in his hand as he looked at Fang Yuan with a sharp gaze. I can see your sincerity, but there are many Southern Border Righteous Path forces. Why did you choose me? Fang Yuan laughed heartily. I have interacted with Qi Shang before. I also have Shadow Sect's and Wu Clan's information. I know a lot about Qi Clan. Qi Bang is your son, but he lacks the ability to become the first Supreme Elder. That was why you needed Qi Shang, the future formation path Great Grandmaster, to help him. Senior Qi, you have limited lifespan. When you die and chaos starts, can Qi Bang protect Qi Clan? You. Qi Chu Yu's expression turned dark. Killing intent leaked out of him, but Fang Yuan was completely ignoring it. Qi Chu Yu had no choice but to admit Fang Yuan was right. Southern Border's earth veins were shaking. Such situations occurred in the other 4 regions too. A person at Qi Chu Yu's level could also sense the chaos of the future. Qi Chu Yu had already used many lifespan extension methods. Lifespan Gu were not effective on him anymore. He had already started preparing long ago, for the sake of his son's succession. Even though he knew that Qi Bang lacked talent, as a father, he had his selfish side. But he could not be selfish entirely. If Qi Clan was destroyed in Qi Bang's hands, even if Qi Chu Yu died, he would not rest in peace. And if Qi Clan was destroyed, would Qi Bang be safe? Therefore, Qi Clan needed Fang Yuan's Dream Path gains. With this, Qi Clan would be able to protect itself in the future. It would also ride the tide of the Great Era and become an even stronger super force. Ha ha! Qi Chu Yu suddenly laughed loudly, as if his killing intent never existed. He looked at Fang Yuan and shook his head. Fang Yuan, you are truly the #1 demonic figure of the 5 regions. I have finally seen your true abilities today. No wonder Heavenly Court and Wu Clan were helpless against you. I will accept this transaction. Fang Yuan nodded. Qi Chu Yu's response was within his expectations. There was nothing peculiar. Qi Chu Yu was the leader of a righteous path force, while Fang Yuan was a demon that everyone was after. How could they make a deal? This seemed quite unthinkable. But actually, for the terms righteous path and demonic path, everyone had their own understanding of it. The central thing that mattered were benefits, be it righteous path or not. Look at Qi Clan. It had so many resource points. It had to promote the advantage of the righteous path, that evil cannot defeat righteousness, so that they had the moral high ground to defend their territory and attain stability. As for demonic path Gu immortals, they had to deal with calamities and tribulations. They needed to become stronger, and that needed resources. But what to do when they had no resources? The only way was to rob and steal, to kill and loot. It was all for gains and benefits. Precisely because of this central reasoning, why would Qi Chu Yu not agree to Fang Yuan's deal? They were just getting what they needed for their respective benefits. The talk was done. Fang Yuan dispelled the immortal battlefield and acted like he was forced to retreat in a panic. Qi Chu Yu won, but Fang Yuan managed to escape. His expression was quite ugly. For the following days, he defended cautiously, preventing Fang Yuan's retaliation from coming. 7 days later, Fang Yuan suddenly appeared in Plunder Shadow Earth Trench, breaking the formation and successfully taking the Dream Realm. Chapter 1594. Righteous Path schemes against Fang Yuan. We need to get rid of Fang Yuan. He dared to attack our Righteous Path's formation openly. He is too daring. Luo clan's first Supreme Elder screamed. This time, our clan's Gu Immortal was sacrificed heroically. This demon Fang Yuan already has the blood of 2 Gu Immortals on his hands. He needs to pay the price. Ho clan's first Supreme Elder said in an aged tone, filled with rage. Yao clan's first Supreme Elder sighed. Fang Yuan needs to be dealt with, but he is not an ordinary demonic path Gu Immortal. His identity is very complex. He not only is an otherworldly demon, he also has Spring Autumn Cicada and has returned from the future. He destroyed 88 True Yang building and has Giant Sun's true inheritance. He also inherited Spectral Soul true inheritance and became the leader of Shadow Sect, as well as the funding of Langya Blessed Land. Even with Central Continent Heavenly Court's pursuit, he still remained scot-free. He continued to harm the world while getting stronger at a rapid rate, far beyond logic. To speak the truth, he has the demeanor of a demon venerable in his youth. There will only be Great Dream Immortal Venerable in the future. There will not be a Great Dream Demon Venerable. Yao Clan, are you afraid? Xia Clan's first Supreme Elder immediately said sarcastically. Yao Clan's first Supreme Elder snickered. I'm just stating the truth. If we want to kill Fang Yuan, we need to recognize this truth. Like how your Xia Clan lost to my Yao Clan earlier. Xia Clan's first Supreme Elder was incredibly furious. Recently, due to the turbulence of the earth veins, large amounts of cultivation resources were unearthed from underground. Southern Border's Righteous Path, Demonic Path, and lone cultivators competed for them. During this period, lots of conflict was natural. Xia Clan had fallen into an ambush by Yao Clan and lost, but Yao Clan paid a huge price too. Therefore, their conversation was very hostile. Alright, our discussion is not for bickering. We need to plan on how to deal with Fang Yuan. If he continues his plunder, what will we do? At this time, Shang Clan's first Supreme Elder spoke in a moderate tone. There was silence. Shang Clan had always been neutral and was specialized in trading with all the different forces. When Shang Clan's first Supreme Elder spoke, everyone had to listen. A while later, Ba Clan's first Supreme Elder broke the silence. Fang Yuan must have ways to explore dream realms and obtain great benefits. Otherwise, why would he impersonate Wu Yihai back then to get into our Righteous Path? This time, he attacked Plunder Shadow Earth Trench and took all the dream realms away. This proves my point. I wonder what Wu Clan's first Supreme Elder has to say about this. Wu Clan's first Supreme Elder was naturally none other than Wu Yihai's elder brother, Wu Yong. Wu Clan has already dominated the #1 spot in the Righteous Path. Ba Clan had been after their position, but Wu Yong showed up with clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building, destroying Ba Clan's hope of replacing them as they solidified their status. Ba Clan would not let this chance go now. Wu Yong was silent for a while before speaking. Fang Yuan is an enemy of everyone. Yesterday, he plundered Qi Clan's resources. Tomorrow, he might show up anywhere else. Our resources, and even clansmen, might be targeted by him. Wu Yong said plainly that dealing with Fang Yuan was the responsibility of all the Southern Border Righteous Path members. Ba Clan and others could not make Wu Clan take on this role and exert great effort alone. Hearing Wu Yong's words, many people frowned. Wu Duxiu and Wu Yong were vastly different. If this was Wu Duxiu, she would charge ahead as the vanguard. That was the style of Wu Clan. But Wu Yong stepped back this time. It was as if the humiliation that Fang Yuan gave to Wu Clan earlier did not exist. Ba Clan's first Supreme Elder was not going to let Wu Yong off. He added, the reason why Fang Yuan is a problem to deal with is because he has fixed immortal travel. I wonder if Wu Clan's first Supreme Elder has any good method to restrict fixed immortal travel. Wu Yong smiled bitterly. I am ashamed. Wu Clan does not have such methods. I cannot compare to my mother. We can defend ourselves, but that is our limit. In my opinion, Qi Clan's first Supreme Elder set up effective immortal formations earlier. Even though Fang Yuan broke through, he still spent quite some time. Why doesn't Qi Clan's first Supreme Elder help us to set up immortal formations around our resource points, so that we can stall for some time when Fang Yuan attacks? Qi Clan's first Supreme Elder Qi Chu Yu quickly waved his hand. I am ashamed. My immortal formations were all destroyed by Fang Yuan. I will disappoint all of you. Wu Yong smiled. No need to be so humble. Fang Yuan did not manage to destroy the formation on Wind Flame Mountain. The immortal formation set up in Plunder Shadow Earth Trench also blocked Fang Yuan's assault once. But his formation path attainment level is too high. He was friends with your clan's formation devotee Qi Shang. We all know that. Wu Yong's words had deep meaning. Qi Chu Yu snorted coldly. He remained silent. Southern Border's super forces had all sorts of resource points. If Qi Chu Yu had to set up immortal formations one by one, when would he finish? And most importantly, this matter was very sensitive. Resource points were the most important areas of the different clans. They would not feel easy if outsiders were the ones setting up their defenses. Among the clans here, only Qi clan had been plundered. Without experiencing it for themselves, the other clans did not feel an urge to ask for Qi Chuyu's help. Qi Chuyu understood this, which was why he stopped talking. Wu Yong saw that Qi Chuyu was silent. He could not say anything else. At this moment, Tai clan's first Supreme Elder said excitedly. Actually, Wu clan first Supreme Elder's method is the best way to deal with Fang Yuan, but that is only half of it. Qi clan's first Supreme Elder's immortal formations can block Fang Yuan for some time. At this time, if there is our Tai clan's beacon tower, we would be able to teleport there and block Fang Yuan, to kill him together. With the combination of both methods, Fang Yuan is not a problem at all. Once he said that, the Gu immortals became even quieter. Beacon Tower was an immortal Gu house of Tai clan. Its greatest use was similar to Western Desert Shao clan's 10,000 Li Silk Corridor. This Gu house was made of multiple beacon towers. They could transport Gu immortals to each other. If many beacon towers were put together, they could even transport rank 8 Gu immortals. Tai clan first Supreme Elder's idea was not wrong. In fact, Tai clan had been trying to set up more beacon towers around southern border. But this arrangement was too much of a threat to the other super forces. Thus, the forces had been trying to stop Tai clan from creating more beacon towers. And now, Tai clan's first Supreme Elder used this chance to promote the beacon towers again. The leaders of the different clans did not agree. They only kept silent, showing their resistance to it. I have another plan. A long while later, Shang clan's first Supreme Elder spoke. After 15 minutes, the discussion between these southern border righteous path leaders concluded. Under the moonlight, Qi Chuyu stopped using his killer move. He flew in the sky while riding a thick cloud, having an eerie gaze. Southern Border's Gu immortal world was full of conflicts between major forces to begin with. During this period, the earth veins shook. While it gave great benefits, it also intensified the conflict between forces. This made the super forces more hostile to each other. Other than scheming against each other, just look at this time when Fang Yuan attacked Qi clan's resource points. Not a single force helped them out. After flying for some time, Qi Chuyu's vision changed. He ended up in an immortal battlefield. He was not nervous, because this was Yama battlefield. He had already set up a meeting time with Fang Yuan. These are yours. Fang Yuan tossed out multiple pure dream reality seeker physique bodies and an information path mortal Gu. Where are my things? I brought them. Qi Chuyu took out a large number of immortal essence stones and immortal materials of all kinds. There was also one information path mortal Gu. An information path inheritance was recorded in it. Both sides inspected the goods and traded successfully before parting. Qi Chuyu frowned lightly, while Fang Yuan smiled. Qi clan's first Supreme Elder. In the future, I will transact with you again. Before leaving, Fang Yuan transmitted. How will you contact me? You will know by then. Both sides quickly left the place. They were extremely alert. Nobody found out about this transaction. The information in this Gu worm is not complete. I can see that Fang Yuan still has a lot of dream path research results. But what I obtained this time has already far exceeded the other super forces of southern border. Qi Chuyu looked at the dream realms in his immortal aperture as he sighed deeply. Thinking of Fang Yuan, his gaze turned dark. Fang Yuan is a scoundrel. He obviously wants to cooperate with me again. After all, he wants to know about Etion Mountain's formation. I should work with him now and obtain more dream path research results. I will use Southern Border's righteous path in the future to eliminate him afterwards. The transaction between Qi Chuyu and Fang Yuan was merely for benefits. His intention to take down Fang Yuan now was also for benefits. After all, if Fang Yuan sold these dream path research results to other super forces, Qi clan's advantage would be lost. Their benefits would be greatly affected. Even though I gave Qi clan a few dream realms this time, I have already obtained a lot of time path dream realms. I am going to cultivate now and raise my time path attainment level. Fang Yuan was thinking and planning. Qi clan had obtained dream path methods. They naturally needed more dream realms to explore. Even though Etion Mountain had a huge dream realm, they could not explore it under everyone's watchful gaze. That was too risky. Fang Yuan wanted to encourage these transactions, but he did not want Qi clan to be exposed either. This time, I succeeded in invading Plunder Shadow Earth Trench. Southern Border's righteous path must be plotting against me. Even though fixed immortal travel is good, it can be countered. Let alone the foundation of Southern Border's righteous path. Close connections between Wu Yong and Heavenly Court will make sure they help out as well. I should lay low now. The truth was, Fang Yuan could use the Dream Path research results to find any super force and become allies with them to undergo transactions. But Fang Yuan chose Qi clan. There were reasons behind it. The most important reason was that during the chaotic period of his previous life, Qi clan was a firm force in resisting Heavenly Court. In his previous life, Wu clan was the same, but because Wu Yong managed to take back many immortal Gu from Southern Border's righteous path this time, Fang Yuan thought about it and could not trust them. The moon was bright outside the window, while a faint candle lighted the room. Wu Yong paced around in his room. He felt worry and frustration in his heart. He could not let it go. Right now, Wu Yong had rank 8 cultivation level. He had supreme authority in Wu clan. He used clear jade dripping wind tiny bamboo building to help Wu clan get through tough times. He even got back the Southern Border righteous path's immortal Gu from Heavenly Court. His reputation was at its peak. During this period, he had worked hard to nurture some Gu immortal seeds. Wu clan was doing very well. Why was he so worried now? Fang Yuan, disguising as Wu Yihai, he even deceived Wu Yong, managing to take away lots of resources and even immortal Gu. Not only did he toy around with Wu clan, even Wu Yong's pursuit saw no results. Fang Yuan was like a thorn in his heart. Whenever Wu Yong thought about it, he would feel heartache, humiliation, anger, and hatred. This time, Fang Yuan suddenly appeared in Southern Border, destroying Plunder Shadow Earth Trench's formation and taking the Dream Realms. Wu Yong seemed very calm and composed now, but his heart was bleeding from this thorn that stabbed deeply into his wound. Shan Clan First Supreme Elder's method can target Fang Yuan's fixed immortal travel, but Wu Yong frowned as he walked around, shaking his head. He felt that it was not reliable. Could this method really kill Fang Yuan? Thinking about how he failed to kill Fang Yuan even with all the Southern Border righteous path forces. Thinking about how Heavenly Court failed to capture him after multiple attempts. Could the Southern Border righteous path really succeed this time? Wu Yong shook his head. He admitted that he was quite wary of Fang Yuan now. This demon's strength improved by leaps and bounds whenever he appeared. He could not be looked at with logic. And also, Wu Yong was not confident in Southern Border's righteous path. Wu clan was the leader of Southern Border's righteous path. Wu Yong had been nurtured under Wu Duxiu's wings. How could he not see the weakness of Southern Border's righteous path? They all had their individual desires. They were filled with conflict and wariness. Unless they had no choice, there would not be a leader that could unify them. Even for Wu clan, even if Wu Duxiu was around and worked with Wu Yong, they could not be an absolute leader. Wu Yong could imagine that on the day of the operation, Southern Border's righteous path would be very wary of each other. They would make excuses and refuse to be the first ones to act. They would want to fight for benefits. How could such a group deal with the crafty Fang Yuan? Especially now, only Qi clan was plundered by Fang Yuan. The other clans were untouched. With the turbulence of the earth veins, they had to fight for the resources underground. How could the clans spend their effort on Fang Yuan? Or rather, Fang Yuan noticed this, so he only plundered Qi clan's resources. Wu Yong's heart sank. From this angle, he really wanted Fang Yuan to go all out and aggravate all the clans. But he was simply too crafty. He only targeted one clan. If Wu Yong knew that Fang Yuan not only plundered Qi clan, he even made a deal with them secretly to plot against Heavenly Court during the 5 regions chaotic war, who knew what he would think? After walking around for a while, Wu Yong made up his mind. I should communicate with Heavenly Court. I should use them to get rid of Fang Yuan. This was quite a tough decision. Even though this was a wise choice, since the enemy of an enemy was a friend, it was taboo. The 5 regions excluding Eastern Sea had a mentality against foreigners. Southern Border did too. If Southern Border's forces and Gu Immortals knew that Wu Yong was working with another region's super force to meddle in Southern Border's affairs, he would receive huge criticism. Even if he was Wu clan's first Supreme Elder, even if he had rank 8 cultivation level, he would not be exempt from it. It could be said that Wu Yong was taking a huge risk. If he was exposed, Wu clan's current advantageous position would be destroyed. Oh, Wu Yong contacted me? It must be due to the demon Fang Yuan. Fairy Ziwei was resting. Seeing that Wu Yong had contacted her, she smiled as she replied. Wu Yong had a special status. He was the first Supreme Elder of Wu clan. Even without trying to influence him, the cooperation between them was already his weakness. Both sides talked for a while. Wu Yong got to the topic of Fang Yuan. Fairy Ziwei thought, like I expected, Fang Yuan has fixed immortal travel, and because I exposed his methods in Treasure Yellow Heaven, Wu Yong is even more wary of him now. He wants to eliminate Fang Yuan despite the risks. Heavenly Court was not in good shape recently. Not long ago, they failed to achieve any of their goals in their second attack on Langya Blessed Land. Wisdom Gu was taken by Fang Yuan, who escaped successfully. Langya Blessed Land was guarded by Longevity Heaven, while Heavenly Court's Thunder Ghost True Monarch died. Chun Yi, Fairy Ziwei, and Feng Gu also suffered injuries to certain degrees. They were all recuperating now. But even so, after hearing Wu Yong's words, Fairy Ziwei agreed without hesitation. Fang Yuan needed to die? Even if he had rank 7 fixed immortal travel, there were ways to restrict this Gu. Or rather, even if they failed to kill Fang Yuan, As long as they pressured him and did not give him time to grow further, it would be a success for Heavenly Court. Fang Yuan's growth is simply too fast and too scary. And this is already with Heaven's will giving him hurdles constantly through its influence. Once in a while, he shows up with shocking improvements. Even if we fail to kill him, we must make sure he has no time to cultivate. If he gained new methods, we must expose all his trump cards. Fairy Ziwei felt deeper wariness against Fang Yuan. To pursue him, she had put in so much effort, and right now, even Langya Blessed Land was nearly taken down by her, but Fang Yuan? He was still free and roaming around. Heavenly Court had the absolute advantage, be it Fate Gu's repair, the nurturing of Great Dream Immortal Venerable, or even the imprisonment of Spectral Soul. Fang Yuan could not match their achievements. But in the deepest part of Fairy Ziwei's heart, she started to feel fear and unease. This emotion was absurd, but she truly felt fear and unease. Fear and unease due to Fang Yuan. Southern Border's righteous path is dealing with Fang Yuan now. This is a chance. Forget my injuries. I need to go all out to kill Fang Yuan and eliminate this problem. Determination flashed in Fairy Ziwei's eyes. Southern Border's righteous path was plotting against Fang Yuan. Because of Wu Yang's contact, before Heavenly Court even made a move, they were already the mastermind. Once Heavenly Court moves, they would unleash a terrifying attack. It was a pity that Fang Yuan had expected this. After the transaction with Qi Chu Yu, he went into seclusion, exploring the dream realms that he had. This was a time path dream realm. Inside this dream realm, Fang Yuan was an old man. He was the main character of this dream, having rank 4 cultivation level. Right now, he was surrounded by 5 or 6 Gu masters with hostile expressions. Lord Bailian, this is the treatment fee in advance. Please follow us. The leader Gu master also had rank 4 cultivation level. Looking at Fang Yuan, he spoke threateningly. Fang Yuan first looked at the Gu worms in his aperture. They were all-time path Gu worms used for support. They could not heal. Thinking about it, Fang Yuan probed. I am just an ordinary time path Gu master. I am not a doctor. Aren't you making things difficult for me? The other party replied. Humph. You will go whether you want to or not. Do you dare to defy the request of our Central Continent's main clan? We already know everything about you. Don't worry. We are asking you to go because of your abilities, we know. You can heal Lord Mengbai's illness. Come. Do you need us to invite you by force? Let's go, lead the way. Fang Yuan smiled bitterly. Following these Gu masters, Fang Yuan soon arrived at Meng clan. He saw the patient Mengbai, only to see that this person was frail and yellow. His bones were protruding from his skinny body. He rested in bed as he grunted weakly. How did this happen? What illness is it? Fang Yuan probed. A servant started crying as he said, My master has always been healthy and strong. He sprints as fast as a wolf. To think that this would happen. He was harmed by that unscrupulous merchant. He bought a water text Gu. The merchant said that this Gu would allow him to write beautiful words that resembled flowing water. Master has always been brutish. The others have always said that he had bronze, but no literary flair. Because of this, Master bought this water text Gu at a high price, wanting to write a beautiful verse that night. Is the problem regarding that water text Gu? Fang Yuan asked. The servant nodded. Initially, Master used that water text Gu with no issue. He wrote verses after verses. Master was extremely happy. He wrote 50 to 60 texts. But in the morning, before he ate, he started to have diarrhea. It poured like flowing water. He had the runs for over 20 times. Even with Master's tough body, he ended up like this after a day. Fang Yuan realized at last. He gained confidence in solving this. Water text Gu was not the problem, but overly using it caused the diarrhea. Nobody could deal with that side effect. Rushing leads to worse results. This was quite common. Using Gu carried risks. Mengbai truly brought it upon himself. Meng clan was right to invite me. My time path Gu worms might not be able to heal, but in this situation, they are appropriate in healing Mengbai. Fang Yuan thought. Fang Yuan was not a novice at exploring dream realms. He had a lot of experiences. Fang Yuan had already understood Mengbai's dream realm at this point. I need to use the time path Gu worms in the aperture to create a time path killer move and heal Mengbai's injuries. Mengbai was injured from overly using water text Gu. This time path killer move must target the root cause. Even though Fang Yuan had ordinary attainment level in time path, he had Spectral Soul's true inheritance, Langya's true inheritance, and He Fan's true inheritance. Especially the final one, it was a huge help for this problem. This dream realm was testing the explorer's knowledge and ability to formulate killer moves. Of course, it was not so simple. Fang Yuan analyzed them. He found that the time path mortal Gu in this aperture were unique to this dream realm. They did not exist in real life. Fang Yuan was not surprised. This was a dream realm after all. It was different from the real world. Others, including time path grade experts, would have to test their luck now. But Fang Yuan's luck was very good. However, he had a better option. Immortal Killer Move, Unravel Dream. This move was useless when he explored Thieving Heaven's dream realm. But now, because this dream realm was much smaller, it had an extraordinary effect. The necessary goo worms started to float in the aperture, giving Fang Yuan the answer directly. Fang Yuan already had a blueprint in his mind. Using these goo worms, he started to test them. After failing twice, he succeeded in the killer move. Mingbai was saved. And with this, the dream realm was over. His soul returned to sovereign immortal body as Fang Yuan opened his eyes. He joyfully discovered that his time path attainment level had risen from ordinary to master level. But his joy did not last long. His expression suddenly changed. At the same time, immortal killer move Emperor Yama that was shielding his soul started to expand rapidly from its original state. Someone is deducing my location. They are quite proficient. Fang Yuan smiled coldly. If this was before the defensive battle of Langya Blessed Land, he would be worried. But he had Emperor Yama now. His defense against deductions made even Heavenly Court's Fairy Ziwei without options for now. As expected, after deducing for a while, the other party was unable to break Emperor Yama. They paid a huge price for nothing. Fang Yuan's Emperor Yama killer move shrunk back into a simple garment on his soul again. Fang Yuan's gaze flickered with cold light. He looked around as Emperor Yama's aura burst out in the surroundings. To play safe, he decided to leave this place immediately. Using fixed immortal travel again, it was simply too convenient to move around with this goo. In a flash, Fang Yuan went from one side of southern border to the other side. Who knew how far the distance was? Fang Yuan flew for a while before lurking in a gray valley that was filled with mist. My soul foundation is only a 30 million man soul now. Fang Yuan calculated as he sighed. Using Emperor Yama would place a burden on Fang Yuan's soul. His soul foundation would be depleted. Earlier, against that mysterious expert, Emperor Yama expended 1 million of Fang Yuan's soul foundation. The deducer was truly powerful. Long ago, Fang Yuan's soul foundation far exceeded 30 million, but in the Battle of Langya, he expended it greatly. And also, exploring dream realms consumed soul foundation and also caused great harm to the soul. If this was before, Fang Yuan could use his resources to raise his soul foundation again. But now, Danghun Mountain was still being repaired. It could not be used. Without Danghun Mountain to produce Guts Gu, with just Fang Yuan's Guts Gu in stock, they could not last long. To repair Danghun Mountain, I have been using Landscape as before Immortal Gu. Event Hof Danghun Mountain has the effect of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's Orderly Well Killer move. It is just a rank 6 Immortal Gu. This task has been draining my immortal essence. Fang Yuan's immortal essence storage was drying up. His abundant storage had already been depleted by the intense battles earlier. Heavenly Court's attacks on Fang Yuan did not kill him, but they were not in vain. His foundation was deeply hit by this. The lack of immortal essence was also why Fang Yuan wanted to work with Qi Chu Yu instead of fighting. Actually, Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture had an incredible amount of time path resources, sup, 1/sup. The rate of time was rapid. His immortal essence was produced at the fastest rate in the world compared to all other rank 7 Gu immortals. But his expenditure was even greater. Just him alone could not make up for the deficit. The dragonfish business was sustaining him for now. The dragonfish business was raking in huge profits. Fang Yuan used these immortal essence stones and constantly converted them into immortal essence, alleviating his problem. With the dragonfish business and my Gutsgu storage, I can still sustain myself. When Danghun Mountain is repaired, everything will get better. With fixed immortal travel and omnidirectional travel, Fang Yuan was not afraid of people approaching him. The truth was, with Emperor Yama's protection, there was little possibility of them deducing his location quickly. Fang Yuan decided to continue exploring Time Path Dream Realms. He had left many Time Path Dream Realms in Plunder Shadow Earth Trench. After setting up a Gu formation to alert himself, he entered the dream. On a snowy mountain peak, an old man looked at Fang Yuan with his hands behind his back. "Kneel down," the old man said plainly. Fang Yuan was dazed, but quickly followed the old man's words. The old man's expression turned solemn and grand. He said slowly, "From now on, I will impart upon you the strongest killer move of our clan, Time Cutting Edge. Once this is shot out, it will not miss. Anyone hit by it will die. There is only hope in taking revenge on our clan's mortal enemy after you learn this move." Yes. Fang Yuan heard his words and had a feeling he was going to have huge gains in this dream realm exploration. As expected, the old man taught him the entire killer move, Time Cutting Edge. This move was very complex, much more than Fang Yuan's own creation, Myriad Self. And the harder thing was, this move had a very short completion time. Hundreds of steps needed to be completed in 3 breaths of time. Otherwise, Fang Yuan would face the backlash of this killer move. 3 breaths. How can that be possible? Even Fang Yuan felt that it was impossible. However, The old man's explanation had not ended. Fang Yuan listened closely. The solution was for Fang Yuan to use another time path killer move to shorten time cutting edge's activation time to 3 breaths. That would allow him to use it. If other paths use his time path methods to accelerate their killer moves, they would be adding fuel to the fire. The effect would backfire, and the move would fail, resulting in a backlash. But time cutting edge was a time path killer move to begin with. When using other time path killer moves, there would be no conflict. Instead, they complemented each other. Thus, rather than time cutting edge itself, Fang Yuan started to learn the supplementary killer move, Shrink Time. Chapter 1597, Time Path, Grandmaster Time Path Dream Realm. Fang Yuan turned into a young-looking rank 6 Gu immortal. His eyes were shut as his body was covered in specks of white light. As the number of white lights increased, Fang Yuan's aura became denser and more stable. Suddenly, his body shook. His aura became chaotic. It was like a tall building collapsing into the abyss. Guh. Fang Yuan opened his mouth, spitting out a mouthful of blood. I failed again. He opened his eyes, bright light shining within. He had already failed to activate Shrink Time 3 times. This was a rank 6 killer move used to supplement time cutting edge. With 3 consecutive failures, Fang Yuan's soul foundation fell with each injury. His 30 million man soul had fallen to 29,600,000. This was not Thieving Heaven's dream realm after all. The soul foundation loss in Thieving Heaven's dream realm was too absurd. Fang Yuan did not feel discouraged. His gaze flickered as fighting spirit rose in him. Ignoring the rest, just Shrink Time itself was very valuable. It was not only useful for time cutting edge, he could supplement it for other time path killer moves. The exploration failed. Fang Yuan's soul left the dream realm, returning to heal in the sovereign immortal body. Guts Gu. Fang Yuan took out a Guts Gu and used it. Earlier, he had an abundant supply, but now, he had to use them wisely. He did not have many Guts Gu. Fang Yuan planned to use them for the healing of his soul. Therefore, he could only stop his soul path cultivation. The truth was, not only would Fang Yuan's soul foundation remain stagnant, as he explored more dream realms later, it would continue to fall. This was something to be expected. There was no helping it. Soul path cultivation was no longer his priority. He needed to head into the river of time and obtain Red Lotus true inheritance. That was the most logical plan. Fang Yuan needed to go soon. Firstly, the longer he waited, the more problems that would arise. His enemy was Heavenly Court, which had a deep foundation. They might have another great expert awakening at any time. Heavenly Court also had traps set in the river of time. The more time passed, the more traps there would be. Secondly, Fang Yuan was placing his hope on Red Lotus true inheritance to resist Heavenly Court and preventing Fate Immortal Gu from being repaired. This had the greatest chance of success now. But in the worst-case scenario that Red Lotus true inheritance could not help him, he had to make other plans. Thus, the earlier Fang Yuan obtained Red Lotus true inheritance, the more time he had to deal with the future. As for his soul path cultivation becoming stagnant or falling, or even the lack of immortal essence, Fang Yuan did not care. Of course, he was not ignoring them. He already had the way to settle them. Once Dang Hun Mountain was repaired, everything would be in order again. Other than this method, Fang Yuan had no way of resolving these problems now. Currently, Dang Hun Mountain was about 30 to 40% restored, but the soul path Dao marks had not reached a qualitative change yet. It could not produce Guts Gu. After resting his soul, Fang Yuan entered the dream realm again. This time, he finally succeeded in activating Shrink Time. The first 3 failures were not for nothing. Each failure led Fang Yuan closer to success. Fang Yuan finally grasped the killer move Shrink Time. Of course, the Shrink Time obtained in the dream realm might not be usable in the real world. After all, dreams and reality were different. Fang Yuan was clear in his mind. The content of Shrink Time was accurate. Even if there were differences, with the light of wisdom, he could spend some time to create a version usable in real life. At this point, this stage of the dream realm has been cleared. The entire cultivation area faded from Fang Yuan's view. His time path attainment started to rise rapidly before stopping. I am still a time path master, but, compared to before it, has risen a bit. I am approaching Grandmaster. In the second stage of the dream realm, Fang Yuan started to practice time cutting edge. This move was even more difficult and complex than Myriad itself back then. Fang Yuan focused his mind and practiced. He soon felt his head spinning. Thoughts were expended rapidly in his mind. It was like a dried pond. Fang Yuan was very patient. He practiced the contents continuously over and over again, moving towards the path of success. While practicing, he got injured again. After leaving the dream realm and going back to his body, Fang Yuan was shocked to find out that not only did his soul foundation fall from this injury, his lifespan was also shaved off to some extent. Getting injured in this dream realm will expend lifespan. Fang Yuan's heart jumped. This was a new discovery. But thankfully, He had a lot of lifespan Gu now, there was no issue. Of course, other Gu immortals would think differently. Just like this, after a while, Fang Yuan got injured 4 times before he finally managed to use time cutting edge in the dream realm. Just once was enough? This was not reality after all. The dream realm collapsed as Fang Yuan entered the 3rd stage. The old man appeared again. After 6 years, you finally learned time cutting edge, not bad. But we will have to test it in battle first. Fang Yuan cupped his fists. Please arrange it. The old man laughed. Rank 7 Gu Immortal Li Xian is that person's right-hand man. There is chaos in the south due to ancient desolate beasts. He is there to suppress them. Go kill him. Fang Yuan frowned slightly. He only had rank 6 cultivation level under this identity. Without deep foundations, how could he kill a rank 7? The only advantage was his killer move time cutting edge. Before Fang Yuan could think anymore, the dream changed. The surroundings were covered in flames. A person stood in the sea of fire, looking at Fang Yuan with his triangular eyes. So you are a lingering member of Bo clan. Die. Saying so, dark red flames surged towards Fang Yuan like a huge wave. Fang Yuan quickly retreated. At the crucial moment, he activated the time path Immortal Gu in his immortal aperture. At the next moment, the flames engulfed him. Fang Yuan died in battle. The dream realm exploration failed. Fang Yuan moved his injured soul back into his body. This dream realm was quite ridiculous. The battle started immediately. Fang Yuan had no time to react. Furthermore, other than time cutting edge, I can only use the other time path Immortal Gu without formulating any killer moves. Fang Yuan was quite vexed. These time path Immortal Gu were all rank 6. When used alone, how could they match the rank 7 Gu Immortal Li Xian? And his dark red flame killer move was clearly rank 7. It seems that I can only counter offense with offense and use time cutting edge against him. Fang Yuan made up his mind after a moment. If this was real life, Fang Yuan would fight cautiously. But the dream realm was a different case. After a while, Fang Yuan entered the dream realm. Dark red flames came at him, but Fang Yuan did not dodge. He used Immortal Killer move time cutting edge. A thin blade formed instantly. The flying blade shot out with the flash of a sharp light. What is this killer move? Li Xian had a shocked expression as he fell. The dark red flames surged and burned him to a crisp. Fang Yuan was deeply shocked. This move is amazing. It could easily kill a rank 7. Even though this Li Xian was covered in defensive methods. Even in the dream realm it is so powerful. It seems it is not weak in real life either. With Li Xian's death, the dream realm dissipated. The 3rd stage of the dream was passed. Fang Yuan became a time path Grandmaster. Chapter 1598. Forget the dream realm reached the 4th stage. I killed Li Xian. Fang Yuan said. The old man stood in front of Fang Yuan, nodding. It seems that you are already proficient in time cutting edge. But you only learned the rank 6 version of time cutting edge. I will impart you the rank 7 version now. Listen carefully. Fang Yuan focused his mind and memorized it. The rank 7 killer move was many times more complex than the rank 6 version. Fang Yuan got a headache from just listening to the steps. This was the most complex killer move he had ever heard of. There was no competition. After imparting him the killer move, the old man said to Fang Yuan before leaving, after you succeed in learning this rank 7 killer move, come find me. Fang Yuan was left alone in the dream realm. It seems that the 4th stage still wants me to practice the killer move. Fang Yuan pondered. Having understood this, he started to work, practicing laboriously in the dream realm. Even though the killer move was complex and difficult to master, Fang Yuan had lots of patience. His personality had already been tempered into a piece of black steel by his previous life and the toying of fate. He was extremely firm and determined. These small setbacks would not make him dejected or feel like giving up. While Fang Yuan explored the dream realm and practiced his killer move, inside the sovereign immortal aperture, Fang Yuan's time path clone was sitting in front of Wisdom Gu, using the light of wisdom to make deductions. Next, he opened his eyes, muttering, the formation's deduction has reached a certain point. Next, I will move on to time cutting edge. It was actually quite strange. This killer move, time cutting edge, had exceptional power. Why was it not recorded inside Spectral Soul's true inheritance? After all, this time path dream realm came from Spectral Soul himself. Normally speaking, time cutting edge should be recorded inside Spectral Soul's true inheritance. But in fact, Fang Yuan's true inheritance of Spectral Soul did not have such content. We have not deduced Fang Yuan's location yet, Xia Clan's first Supreme Elder said with a grim expression. In front of her, a group of southern border Gu immortals fell into silence. They all had ugly expressions. Because Fang Yuan destroyed Plunder Shadow Earth Trench and took away all the dream realms earlier, Southern Border's righteous path gathered together and sent out their people, forming a group of specialized individuals to track Fang Yuan. The leader of this group was Xia clan's first supreme elder, Xia Cha. Xia Cha had white hair and wrinkles on her face. Even though she was old, she had a grand disposition. Her gaze swept across the crowd as she dominated everyone with her aura. The southern border immortals lowered their heads. Who did not want to find Fang Yuan? But he had Emperor Yama protecting him. Even Heavenly Court's wisdom path great expert Fairy Ziwei was without options against him, not to mention this hastily gathered group of southern border Gu immortals. Of course, southern border's righteous path had deep foundations. They were not to be underestimated. These people were not completely incapable of finding out Fang Yuan's location. They just needed more clues, like when Fang Yuan appears again to attack another resource point. With sufficient clues, there was a possibility that these people could use their various methods and cooperate to unravel Emperor Yama. Emperor Yama was strong, but if it remained the same over time, as deductions piled up, it would eventually be broken. Xia Cha knew this too. This damned Fang Yuan, after plundering Plunder Shadow Earth Trench, he vanished into thin air. Xia Cha felt pressured. As long as Fang Yuan was still alive, as leader of this expedition, her reputation would continue to plummet. If it got serious, the whole of Xia clan would suffer too. This demon Fang Yuan, he is hiding in seclusion. He must be exploring dream realms and gaining benefits. We must eliminate him fast, otherwise, he will get much stronger again. Xia Cha said eerily. Everyone, if you have any trump cards, use them. I swear on my name that I will compensate you all fairly. The southern border immortals looked around at each other. They did not move. Xia Cha felt increasingly disappointed. Her gaze swept across the people and stopped at one person. Lu Hao, I wonder what brilliant method you have. Lu Hao was slightly stunned. He had a tall body. He wore a green robe and had a goatee. His face was yellow. He was the representative of Wu clan. Because of the turmoil earlier, many of Wu clan's Gu immortals had been sacrificed. Thus they recruited a lot of outside Gu immortals recently as their external supreme elders. Lu Hao was one of them. But the truth was, he was a Central Continent Gu immortal, a spy sent by Fairy Ziwei, arranged by Wu Yong as a southern border righteous path member. Xia Cha was familiar with the other Gu immortals except Lu Hao. On the surface, he was a secluded cultivator and did not have much reputation. Lu Hao reacted in time and smiled bitterly. I am ashamed. I cannot do anything about this. Our information is severely lacking, especially clues connected to Fang Yuan. In my opinion, we are not weak. The problem is that we have nothing to work with. Indeed. Lu Hao is correct. Lu Hao's words resonated with everyone present. Xia Cha was slightly disappointed, but she did not suspect Lu Hao of lying. After all, Wu clan and Fang Yuan had deep enmity between them. What do we do now? Do we continue waiting? If Fang Yuan does not show up, will we do nothing but wait for him to appear? Xia Cha thought about this and felt a headache coming. But at this time, an unknown voice suddenly spoke around them. I can help in this matter. Who is it? The immortals were shocked. Even Xia Cha stood up as her eyes shined brightly. She stared hard. An unknown Gu immortal with a muscular body and conical hat suddenly appeared in the immortal formation. If he did not speak, nobody would have noticed. Who are you? Southern Border's immortals were all prepared to fight. The atmosphere was extremely tense. Wait, you are. The expression of Tai clan's representative changed as he stopped the immortals. That's right, I am Lu Wei-yin. The person said plainly with a smile. Dream Realm. The old man nodded with satisfaction and a bit of shock. Rank 7-time cutting edge, you mastered it as well. Fang Yuan had a plain expression, cupping his fists. I did not disappoint you. The old man nodded. It seems that you are talented in this aspect. Very good. Our clan's revenge can finally see some hope. But I have some things to tell you. Please tell me. First, the old man raised his right index finger. Rank 6-time cutting edge can kill rank 7, but rank 7-time cutting edge cannot kill rank 8 Gu immortals. Rank 7 and 8 are too different in strength. Thus, even if you mastered time cutting edge, do not seek the enemy for revenge yet. You are only rank 6 now. You will only be courting death. Second, the old man raised his right middle finger. You only have rank 6 cultivation level. Using rank 7-time cutting edge is quite difficult. You need to raise your cultivation level to rank 7 or even rank 8. When you raise your cultivation level, you will be able to learn rank 8-time cutting edge. With a rank 8 killer move, you would be able to take revenge, but before that, you need to endure. And third, the old man raised his fourth finger. Time cutting edge is an extreme move. It has incredible power, but the drawback is huge. The higher the rank, the stronger the drawback. You must have realized it now, right? That's right. Time cutting edge will remove your memories related to it. The more you use it, the more you forget. One day, you will forget me, the enemy, and even this killer move itself. Thus, before you lose too many memories, you need to control yourself and not use this move excessively. Chapter 1599, Tribulation and Divine Technique, Southern Border. The sovereign immortal aperture had already been placed. The entrance was open and swallowed a vast amount of heaven and earth chi. Swoosh swoosh. The turbulent heaven and earth chi approached grandly. If anyone saw this, they would be deeply shocked. No blessed land had ever been able to absorb so much heaven and earth chi at once. Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal body was near the entrance, watching the heaven and earth chi flow in. Because it was too dense, the chi could be seen like moving fog or clouds. Absorb more, take in everything you need. Fang Yuan smiled. He could tell that the sovereign immortal aperture was very hungry. City Well, Reverse Flow River, and Luo Pa Valley. Even though the three secluded domains of heaven and earth were unique and amazing, they caused a huge burden on the blessed land. The expenditure of heaven and earth chi was intense. From time to time, Fang Yuan had to absorb heaven and earth chi from the outside world to replenish them. And this is before Danghun Mountain gets repaired. After it is restored, the amount of heaven and earth chi needed will be even higher. From this aspect, the destruction of Danghun Mountain had a tiny bit of benefit to Fang Yuan. Of course, the biggest reason was that sovereign blessed land had a lot of resources. It was like a huge foundation that could handle the weight of 4 secluded domains of heaven and earth. Ordinary blessed lands could not sustain 2 of them at once. Placing his immortal aperture and opening the immortal aperture's entrance had several drawbacks to Fang Yuan. At this moment, because the inside and outside were connected, when he absorbed heaven and earth chi, Fang Yuan's location would be exposed to heaven's will. And if any Gu immortal tried to make deductions on him, the difficulty of defending himself would be many times higher. Thus, Fang Yuan had been buying immortal materials and turning them into heaven and earth chi to replenish his immortal aperture. But recently, his focus was on repairing Danghun Mountain. He started lacking funds. He could not buy them anymore, so he had to place his immortal aperture to absorb heaven and earth chi. The sovereign immortal aperture was definitely a big eater. It needed dozens or even hundreds of times of heaven and earth chi as ordinary blessed lands. The sovereign immortal aperture had its fill, but heaven and earth chi continued to pour in unceasingly. This phenomenon did not shock Fang Yuan, because he knew that this time was different. His tribulation was coming. Fang Yuan was a rank 7 Gu immortal. He faced an earthly calamity every 10 years, a heavenly tribulation every 50 years, and a grand tribulation every 100 years. Ever since Fang Yuan used his time path methods to modify the sovereign immortal aperture's rate of time to its quickest, his calamities and tribulations had been coming at a rapid rate. This was an earthly calamity, but be they earthly calamity or heavenly tribulation, they were not a problem for Fang Yuan, especially when he had the killer move exposing Heavenly Secret. This move used Heavenly Secret Immortal Gu as the core with supplementary Gu worms to allow Fang Yuan to deduce the contents of upcoming calamities and tribulations. Thus, before this earthly calamity even formed, Fang Yuan already knew what it was. As expected, the calamities and tribulations formed like how Fang Yuan had predicted. Earth Chi continued to rumble under Fang Yuan's feet, forming into huge yellow spirals. Heaven Chi rumbled in the sky, booming as green lightning in the sky continued to flicker. Screech, screech, screech. With a chain of shrill noises that could burst eardrums, terrifying statues emerged from the center of the yellow spiral. These giant statues were 10 meters tall. They were muscular and had sharp teeth that protruded out of their faces. Suddenly, they opened their red eyes as the purple bat wings on their backs expanded. They flew up and charged at Fang Yuan. Yellow Spring Ghost Martial Statues. Fang Yuan floated in the sky. His arms were behind his back as he looked at these statues calmly. He was very relaxed. He could even look at the sky during this critical moment when the enemy approached. In the sky, the green lightning split apart the cloud layer. Countless statues that resembled the Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues appeared. The Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues bore their fangs and claws, but these statues were very orderly like a group of troops. They had solemn expressions and huge bodies. There were eagle wings on their backs. Green lightning, divine martial statues. Fang Yuan smiled in his mind, recognizing the second type of statue. At this moment, the Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues had already reached Fang Yuan. They slashed their claws and opened their mouths, biting at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan did not move. Ripples appeared on his body. It was the famous creation of Fang Yuan, Immortal Killer Move, Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Be they the Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues or Green Lightning Divine Martial statues, their attacks were all reflected back and injured themselves. Fang Yuan was completely unharmed and could not be defeated. Begone! Fang Yuan waved his hand. Immortal Killer Move Myriad Dragon burst out. Within the sea of silver scales, myriad dragons flew and attacked endlessly. Even though there were many Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues and Green Lightning Divine Martial statues produced by the Heaven and Earth Chi, how could they match Fang Yuan's myriad dragon? At the start, they could still resist, but soon, they were engulfed by the myriad dragon army, losing their numbers rapidly. The Heaven and Earth Chi were scattered by the myriad dragons. Even though Heaven's Will was unresigned and sought to try again, the next wave of myriad dragon destroyed the gathering Heaven and Earth Chi again. A moment later, the calamity was over. The immortal aperture's entrance closed. The sovereign immortal aperture became peaceful again as the turbulence ended. Fang Yuan nodded to himself and concluded, this earthly calamity only had the Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues originally, but changed because I did not go through the previous earthly calamity, instead using the Immortal Killer move Endless Trouble to delay it. Immortal Killer move Endless Trouble was among the contents of He Fan's true inheritance. It could delay the current tribulation until the next time, and undergo both tribulations together. The weakness was that it would anger Heaven's will. The following calamities and tribulations would increase greatly in strength. Heaven's Will was trying to suppress Fang Yuan and prevent his cultivation level from advancing. It intentionally made his calamities and tribulations as weak as possible so he could gain few down marks. In this situation, the weakness of Endless Trouble was actually advantageous to Fang Yuan. Thus, Fang Yuan used this killer move to undergo 2 tribulations together. He could gain down marks, and Heaven's Will could not stop him. Yellow Spring Ghost Martial statues were the earthly calamity, while Green Lightning Divine Martial statues were on the level of heavenly tribulation. This time, I gained quite a few down marks. Fang Yuan inspected it. His soul path and transformation path down marks had increased. These were both useful to Fang Yuan. Of course, he needed time path down marks the most. The sovereign immortal aperture had a huge space. Fang Yuan intentionally chose an empty area to undergo tribulation. Even if Heaven's Will wanted to destroy anything, it had no target. Even though the calamity was over, Fang Yuan's body remained here. He started to activate Heaven's Will dissipation, only stopping after he confirmed that the remaining Heaven's Will was cleansed away. When Fang Yuan's main body underwent tribulation, his time path clone had been staying with Wisdom Gu, deducing Immortal Killer moves continuously. Previously, Fang Yuan successfully explored the Dream Realm. His time path attainment level rose drastically to Grandmaster level. With this attainment level, he was very successful in deducing time path killer moves. Actually, Fang Yuan's main body had many time path killer moves. Spectral Soul's true inheritance had many, followed by He Fan's true inheritance and Lang Yi's sect. In theory, Fang Yuan with refinement path quasi-supreme attainment could deduce and modify these immortal killer moves. But for Fang Yuan, He Fan's true inheritance was his main consideration, because his time path Immortal Gu were mostly from He Fan's true inheritance. For example, rank 8 years flow like water, rank 7 year Gu, and after Immortal Gu. The remaining time path Immortal Gu were all rank 6. Most were left behind from Graceful Chaotic Dual Stage, and Fang Yuan also had Day Immortal Gu. The time path clone's main job was to use He Fan's true inheritance as the foundation along with other immortal killer moves and time path Immortal Gu recipes to deduce the most appropriate time path methods for Fang Yuan. Even though not long had passed, the time path clone was extremely efficient. Currently, Fang Yuan had an entire set of time path methods, covering offense, defense, movement, and healing. He just needed to spend some time practicing them, and he could easily grasp them. But this is not enough. The time path clone opened his eyes, sighing. The light of wisdom faded away as Wisdom Gu flew away slowly. The time path clone went to an empty area to experiment on the killer move. Immortal Killer move, Time Cutting Edge. A flying blade tore through the sky, instantly vanishing with shocking speed. But the time path clone's blood flowed out of his mouth as he shook his head, greatly disappointed. I deduced rank 7 time path methods that are suitable for me. But in the River of Time, when searching for Red Lotus true inheritance and facing the obstruction of Heavenly Court, I will need to have rank 8 time path methods. He Fan's true inheritance had rank 8 defensive killer moves that used years flow like water Immortal Gu as the core. But it did not have rank 8 offensive methods. In He Fan's case, he only obtained years flow like water in his later years. With limited time, deducing rank 8 defensive methods were already not easy. He had rank 8 level down marks. Rank 7 offenses were enough for him. Of course, most importantly, he solely had years flow like water. He could either use it to attack or defend himself at one point in time. Defense was naturally more important than offense, especially for a righteous path member. And Time Cutting Edge is very extraordinary. Even though rank 7 Time Cutting Edge cannot kill rank 8 experts, it can harm them. It is a pity that after modifying it, the power is far lower than the original and the backlash is heavier. Fang Yuan was not unfamiliar with this situation, like how he had created myriad self-immortal Gu's recipe. Because of his refinement path quasi-supreme attainment level, he had modified it to its limits. Any minor adjustment would be detrimental and make it worse than before. Fang Yuan's modification of Time Cutting Edge was similar. It seems that the complete Time Cutting Edge killer move is a rank 9 killer move. Like how Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's immortal killer move Orderly Well was also rank 9 and could not be modified further. Even though Fang Yuan only obtained the rank 6 and 7 Time Cutting Edge, even the incomplete versions could not be modified. After forcefully changing the content, the disadvantages far outweighed the advantages. Furthermore, with Fang Yuan's deductions, Time Cutting Edge's memory loss effect was not simple. It was not as plain as the old man had described it. The memories lost were not just about the move, but everything related to the move. Any information related to this move, be it memories or records in information path Gu worms, even carvings on stones would be erased from the River of Time as this move got used continuously. Spectral Soul must have obtained Time Cutting Edge in the past, but because he used it often, all of the information that he had regarding Time Cutting Edge was erased from the River of Time. Therefore, it was not inside Spectral Soul's true inheritance. Of course, there is a possibility that Spectral Soul's true inheritance is not complete. Shadow Sect still kept a small portion of it, including this, hidden from me, but that is very unlikely. Regardless, I am sure of something. This Time Cutting Edge is truly a divine technique. If I can grasp it, I will have more confidence in the River of Time. My chances will rise by 20%. A day later. This is it. Lu Weiyin half knelt on the ground as he placed his palm down, sensing the changes in the earth chi. Next, several figures descended from the sky and landed behind Lu Weiyin. They were led by an old woman, the rank 8 Time Path Great Expert, Xia Clan's first Supreme Elder, Xia Cha. Fang Yuan placed his aperture here and absorbed the heaven and earth chi. In fact, he went through a tribulation here. Lu Weiyin said with deep certainty. Xia Cha's eyes flashed brightly. Lu Weiyin was indeed Paradise Earth's inheritor. His Earth Path methods were profound to this extent. The Gu immortals behind them started to converse. With Lord Lu Weiyin here, we will be able to find Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan has many secluded domains of heaven and earth. The burden of heaven and earth chi is huge. With such a clue, we will definitely find him. Don't you all find it strange? He has fixed immortal travel. Why is he staying in southern border? Why not go to Eastern Sea or Western Desert? Aren't those places safer? Humph, he is already wanted by everyone. Nobody can tolerate him. Nowhere is safe. This demon is too vicious. He is likely staying in southern border because he wants to rob our resources, especially the dream realms in Etion Mountain. We cannot let them go unguarded. Kill. We need to kill this demon before we can rest at ease. In Treasure Yellow Heaven, the higher the value of items, the taller and brighter the treasure light. At this stall, the treasure light had been consistently tall and bright. It was like a torch compared to the other stalls. Southern Border Gu Immortal Tai Chu Zhong's divine sense was moving around this stall. I want 3,000 copper dragonfish. After hesitating for a moment, Tai Chu Zhong added, and 200 silver dragonfish. The transaction was completed quickly. Tai Chu Zhong paid a hefty amount of immortal essence stones for them. When he withdrew his divine sense and flew around Southern Border's sky with his main body, his vision was obscured by clouds. Tai Chu Zhong's worry had dissipated. With these dragonfish, my rank 7 edge Gu can be fed for now. However, dragonfish is only a temporary replacement item. To solve this problem, I need to be self-sufficient and create the white steel extract resource point in my immortal aperture. White steel was a rank 6 immortal material, one of the earth vein essences. White steel extract was a rank 7 immortal material. Often, there would only be a small bowl of white steel extract from a huge piece of white steel. Tai Chu Zhong wanted to create a resource point to produce white steel extract, but it was a huge project to start with. If he could not solve the problem, purchasing dragonfish to feed his rank 7 edge Gu time and time again would incur huge costs. He would be making a loss. When Gu immortals cultivate, they do not just fight. Resource management was also of utmost importance, occasionally even more than fighting. Thinking of the white steel extract, Tai Chu Zhong's gaze turned to his right. There was Gu immortal moving with him hundreds of steps away. Shang Hu Zhong. Tai Chu Zhong transmitted. The Shang clan Gu immortal immediately replied with a nervous expression. Have you found traces of that demon Fang Yuan? It turned out that the two rank 7 Gu immortals, Tai Chu Zhong and Shang Hu Zhong, were members deployed by Southern Border's righteous path to hunt down Fang Yuan. Because of Lu Weiyin, the group that chased after Fang Yuan had always been consistently following his tracks, finding new clues from time to time. This time, the immortals went to the southeast of Southern Border. Due to Lu Weiyin's suggestion, Rank 8 Time Path Gu Immortal Xia ordered the Gu Immortals to work together and search for new clues. Shang Huzhong and Tai Chu Zhong were one of such pairs. Tai Chu Zhong smiled lightly. No need to be worried. I just wanted to ask about the white steel extract. Shang Huzhong heard this and relaxed. He smiled too. So you want to create a white steel extract resource point to feed your edge Gu. This is not hard. Shang Clan can assist with that. But the price? Both sides negotiated for a while. Shang Clan eventually fought for a price that was not too low, while Tai Chu Zhong made up his mind and gritted his teeth as he agreed. After succeeding in the transaction, Shang Huzhang's smile widened. He praised, "Friend Chu Zhong, you want to create the resource point. It is truly wise. Even though the investment is expensive in the long term, it will save you a huge amount. Indeed, like how I bought dragonfish this time to replace a portion of the white steel extract. If I do this every time, the expenditure is huge." Tai Chu Zhong sighed. Shang Huzhang's gaze suddenly flickered. Dragonfish? To speak the truth, our Shang clan has a dragonfish stall in Treasure Yellow Heaven too. Not only do we sell ordinary dragonfish, we also have copper dragonfish. Sigh. Friend, you should have told me earlier. I would be able to give you discounts. Tai Chu Zhong chuckled. Shang clan is also in the dragonfish business? Our Shang clan is interested in any kind of business. Friend Tai Chu Zhong, you also know that the biggest seller of dragonfish now is Fang Yuan. Come, I'll introduce you to the stall. It is run by one of us. Trading with outsiders will lead to their growth after all. Shang Huzhong said with an earnest tone. Tai Chu Zhong had to thank him profusely, but he felt unmoved on the inside. Even though Shang clan gave discounts, the price of the dragonfish was still quite high. And this stall only sold copper dragonfish. There were no silver dragonfish here. Fang Yuan killed Qin by he and Yu Chan, obtaining the #1 spot in the dragonfish business. Fairy Ziwei obviously knew about this. She had exposed Fang Yuan's information in Treasure Yellow Heaven earlier. Other than Great Thief Ghost Hand and other methods, the dragonfish business was also exposed. Thus, the Gu Immortals of the entire world knew that Fang Yuan was the current #1 seller of the dragonfish business in Treasure Yellow Heaven. And naturally, he attracted the envy and jealousy of these Gu Immortals. There was naturally an impact dealt, but the actual loss to his dragonfish business profits were marginal and inconsequential. Copper dragonfish had already been replicated, but the cost of production was much higher than Fang Yuan. This made his competitor's copper dragonfish much more expensive and unable to compete with Fang Yuan. Other than that, silver dragonfish was exclusive to Fang Yuan. Currently, Gu Immortals interested in the dragonfish business could not create it yet. This was a huge advantage for Fang Yuan. With these two elements, Fang Yuan's #1 spot in the dragonfish business could not be taken away. Of course, Fang Yuan was not going to sell dragonfish using just one identity. He opened many stalls and created the scene of many Gu Immortals replicating his silver dragonfish, selling these for huge profits every day. But even so, my immortal essence stones are dwindling rapidly. Fang Yuan sighed. Repairing Dang Hun Mountain used a lot of immortal essence, and immortal essence was converted from immortal essence stones. Fang Yuan's huge expenditure was far beyond his immortal aperture's production speed. However, the good news was that due to his full investment, Dang Hun Mountain was now 60% repaired. The Soul Path Dao marks reached a qualitative change and could now produce Guts Gu again. But the production of Guts Gu was terribly little. Fang Yuan needed to continue repairing Dang Hun Mountain. Dragonfish business has too much profits. Not only would many forces and Gu Immortals interfere, Heavenly Court would definitely try to suppress me. But currently, silver dragonfish is too hard to create, while ordinary dragonfish, iron dragonfish, and copper dragonfish have expensive methods of production that cannot match mine. In time, Fang Yuan's advantage would continue to dwindle, especially after Heavenly Court obtains Spectral Soul's food path inheritance from soul searching. His dragonfish business would definitely face a huge challenge. Fang Yuan knew this. He needed new sources of income. The dragonfish business would not last long while Guts Gu was exposed already, even though it was a monopoly, because the plans in Green Ghost Desert was halted. Fang Yuan lacked souls to mass-produce Guts Gu. Even though Fang Yuan had started his preparation, like the snow monsters and spirit snakes, these were not very profitable businesses, especially when Fang Yuan planned to refine Time Path Immortal Gu. Time Cutting Edge needed specific Time Path Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan thought about it and decided to give it a try. After all, the original Time Cutting Edge had incredible attack power and prospects. Fang Yuan did not want to give up. Oh, at this moment, Fang Yuan's expression changed. At the next moment, Southern Borders Gu Immortals appeared around him, encircling him. The leader was an old woman. It was the Time Path Rank 8 Gu Immortal Xia Cha. She smiled coldly at Fang Yuan. Scoundrel Fang Yuan, you have finally fallen into my hands. Lord Lu Weiyin is truly incredible. We found this demon at last. Shang Huzhang laughed loudly. Kill this demon and eliminate all future threats. Tai Chu Zhong said loudly with deep killing intent. Heavenly Court spy Lu Hao had a grim expression. Fixed space immortal Gu was ready to activate in his immortal aperture. This Gu could counter fixed immortal travel and prevent it from being used in a certain area. Lu Weiyin was silent. He wore his conical hat that covered his expression entirely. Fang Yuan laughed instead. You guys are too slow, but you came after all. My planning was not in vain. Southern Border's immortals were originally very excited, but upon hearing this, the atmosphere changed. Xia Cha squinted as cold light flashed in her eyes. Humph, little scoundrel. You still want to deceive us when you were going to die? That's right. He must be putting up a front. Lady Xia Cha has acted personally to conceal our traces. Someone shouted. Fang Yuan smiled. Of course I did not sense your presence. However, I could sense your deductions. Why do you think I purposely stayed in Southern Border, leaving behind clues and allowing you to make deductions on me? At the next moment, there was a loud sound as a formation activated.